Welcome to Pace again. I am Stoppin' Fritz.
I am Rico.
And we are going to be featuring Marathonman running Kingdom Hearts Final Mix beginner mode on the PS5. Looking forward to it. Ready, Marathon?
How we doing, everyone? I'm Marathon. We're going to be running Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, the PS5 version, on the beginner difficulty. It's the fastest difficulty. It's the most streamlined. All the combat is the main focus here. If we're all ready, I will count down from 3. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, and so right off the bat, we have a 3.5-minute unskippable cutscene. So I have a long list of people I just want to shout out and thank for everything that they've done. This is my first time running Kingdom Hearts at a marathon. My first time running you may have seen, I did the Ratchet and Clank run on Sunday. This is my first big non-Ratchet and Clank marathon run, so it wouldn't be without any of these people. First, right here, I have to thank my man Stoppin' Fritz. Fritz ran Kingdom Hearts 2 at an event I helped host many years ago, and I'm pretty sure that was the moment where I was like, I should give running Kingdom Hearts a try. I was a bit back and forth, a bit hesitant, but I saw that run and I was like, I think I should try it, and here we are. And
you've come so far since then. Have you noticed?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we're here at Pace Summer 2024, right? And we're playing this, A few other people, I want to thank Fitness Gamer and you that in particular, an extremely respected run in this game. They helped race. We were all racing in a group together, and they were just so much better than me, and they pushed me to be better, and I did everything I could to keep up and learn as much as I could, trying to just even hold a candle to either of those guys, and I can't thank them enough. 2 other runners, Bandit Yoshi and Floundered, I love you both so much. 2 very important runners, very influential to me. Bandit Yoshi in particular, their grind for sub 150 in this category on PC is one of the most important speedrun grinds I ever witnessed, and when they got it, I couldn't have been more elated. 2 of my favorite people on the planet, my friend Padges and her wife, soon to be Swift, another just extremely respected runner in this game, super helpful. She's helped me with so much with this game. I can't thank her enough. And just a bunch of Kingdom Hearts friends in general, Wyatt, Friel, Boker, Hypered, love you all. Thank you all so much. Bunch of other respected runners who have been just very supportive of me over the years. Violin, Missmaster, Biscuit, BB, Saiyans, Templeton, Ninten. Thank you all so much. Thank you for everything you've done for this game and this community over the last bunch of years. People, Miss has been running for over 10 years at this point. I can't thank you guys all enough.
We got a great community.
We really do. Last but not least, one of my best friends on the planet, and again, I don't think I'd be running this game without her, so I want to shout out my friend Ames. Her grind for the Proud difficulty on this game was, again, just one of the most important speedrun grinds I ever got to witness, and I know getting world record, and that meant a lot to her. So thank you all. Again, this community is wonderful. That is the end of our 3.5-minute cutscene, so let's play the game.
If there's more people to thank, oh well.
Oh well.
So, something to note is that this is the PS4 version being played on a PS5. On later released versions, so the Xbox version and the PC version, you actually can skip that intro.
It's true.
But they never fixed that on PS4. Yeah, so this is Dive to the Heart. It's basically the tutorial where you learn how to fight and do combat. But you also pick your dream weapons here and also answer some questions later on. And this is basically going to affect the order in which Marathon gets abilities, the way his stats work out. So there he picked the staff and gave up the shield, so that gives him 1 extra MP. The way magic works in this game is that the more MP you have, the stronger your magic is. So having that is really good. And then the defense is just inconsequential compared to the magic and the strength, so it gets dropped.
Yeah, so that magic stat is, based on how many magic you have, regardless of what level you are. And these are pretty consequential decisions. So as a casual, you might not have known that. Picking the staff there, and then later answering these 3 questions. It seemed like it's just kind of mysterious. They make a big difference.
Yeah, very, very huge one for sure.
They do a really good job of like setting the mood for this game with this though.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just gotta hit the door for good measure.
Just for good luck.
And something else you're gonna see here with this box that Marathon's gonna break. Nice jump. Is Sora's air combos are way faster than his ground combos. So whenever it is possible, air combos are gonna be the priority. Like here for comparison, that ground combo was much slower than the air one.
Mm-hmm. All right, we open the door. Time.
We did it.
Yo, 5 minutes. Let's go. 3.5 of it was an unskippable cutscene. Okay, so here, here Marathon is answering 3 questions. He answered the top for all of them. This affects your level curve. By answering the top ones, you gain your early level EXP much faster, and then as the game progresses, like the later levels are a slower EXP game. This is a speed run. We don't care about the later levels. You just want to level up as fast as possible.
And it works out for like the highest level we're going to get to.
Yeah. I think it's like after level 50 is when it starts to slow down, and we end the
Yeah.
That was 40,
Is
but
it
I'm not
40?
sure.
Either way, we end the run at like 35, 36.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the fast EXP curve is definitely most important.
All right, not bad. It's a very reset-heavy fight there. Just the
That fight
shadows.
is,
That is like very awful.
it can just go
honestly.
so south.
It's just the most annoying thing how the entry-level enemy is the one that can just waste so much time. Shadows can, when they just go underground, you can't hit them. You have to wait and feel all the shame.
Yeah. So one of the perks of beginner mode in this game is that it gives you 8 power-ups and 8 defense ups. So at the beginning of the run, you just throw all of them on. It's technically optimal to not use the defense ups, but it's like a 7-second difference, and it is way riskier to just have that lower defense during the run. So unless you are like at literal top level, it's probably worth just using the defense ups.
Yeah, so even though this is beginner mode, like towards the late and end game, we could die in like 2 or 3 hits, and we're just going to be damage flying all over us, so it's definitely worth it.
So this is the first, I guess, boss in the game, which is Dark Side 1. It just takes 12 air hits, and then it's just done.
He used that potion just to get it out of his inventory. Inventory management's pretty crucial. Gonna have cure, so we're not gonna need potions.
Yeah, cure in particular in this game is very broken, and we'll see
And
that
this
more.
difficulty is super important.
Yeah. So we'll definitely see it later on. Yeah, so this is a continued tutorial. This is Destiny Islands. There's not going to be too much combat going on here. It's just running around picking up some items. So the story here is that Sora, Riku, and Kairi are building a raft to sail away from the islands and try to find other worlds. So this day and the next day is just Sora finding supplies for the raft. We were just talking earlier about how that missing the jump on the tree is just like the worst thing ever. Because you have to climb the ladder and shit.
I don't know if it was a ghost maybe, but I thought I felt someone like on the stage, and I was like, who's up here with me? I was like, hold on. And then I wasn't paying attention where I was jumping.
It's the spirit of the door to darkness.
Yeah. That's Ansem Zero. So yeah, we're mostly just gathering supplies for, we're gonna set sail on our raft and explore the worlds out there.
If you're familiar with Kingdom Hearts 2, this game's prologue goes way faster. Which is not meant to be a dig at KH2's prologue. I think the prologue of KH2 is wonderful.
Yeah, KH2 prologue is usually just shy of 16 minutes. This is what?
With the opening cutscene, it's like 7. I think. No, Dark Side 1 is 7. It's still like 12.
Right.
Yeah, so day 2 is collecting food for the raft. Yesterday was collecting the parts, now it's the food. So Marathon just got 3 fish there. He's going to go into this cave to get one of the 3 mushrooms you need.
hardest mushroom to pick up.
This is actually like a really annoying
This
one.
mushroom will fight you, I swear.
I just like run into this one in mass triangle.
There
There you go. There you go.
So the next item is going to be a seagull egg. It's going to be at the top of one of the palm trees, so you can see right there.
Be going for the task coconut.
Of
You
course.
have to.
Run wouldn't be the same without it.
If you get it, you have to name the raft task nut.
Ah.
I guess we'll just name it.
All right,
Pace.
reset.
Yeah, guys, let's try again.
Yeah, so two of the items you do need for food are coconuts, but you can only collect green ones. And there is a very small chance that if you just hit that palm tree, it'll drop a green coconut, and that's if you get that, it's called task nut.
Yeah.
Fun fact, in the very first run of this game I ever did about a year ago, I actually did get task coconut. And then there's another RNG segment later on called Hook Ship where you have a 25% chance to miss it. I missed it 5 times.
Oh my goodness.
So I had like 2 extremes of the
Yep.
RNG in my first run. Yeah, so this is a race with Riku. Basically, you have to touch the star at the end and then get back to the other side. It's basically to teach you how to platform in the game.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't
Cough platform.
in
Yeah.
the story it doesn't make a difference whether or not you win or lose, but we actually want to win because it gets you a pretty
Oh,
stone.
God.
No, oh no, not like this.
Gets an
Not
item,
like this.
It's an item that we're gonna sell.
There is a backup if you do lose this and not get the pretty stone, but
Yeah.
it's
Backup for the game, not for my dignity.
yeah. But also Riku sometimes just like is super disrespectful and just starts like walking in like circles or just like slowing down or standing in place. So yeah, you should still be fine here. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
There was a lot of mess ups there and you still got it very cleanly.
Yeah.
We
He'll
were
just like walk back and forth sometimes, like.
yeah, Marathon and I were racing this like a couple of hours ago just to prep for the run, and I won that race by a frame. So yeah, it can be scary if you just make a couple minor errors. Yeah, so
Grab
here's
it.
the second mushroom.
And now we're going to the coconuts. Let's see. He's gonna lock onto this tree, and then like mash the target
good
switch.
one.
Yep, there we go.
Oh,
wow.
Wow, very good
Great.
luck.
Yeah,
It very often goes much worse than that.
yeah, it can be first try,
Yeah.
it can be 10th try. Yeah, so Kairi just gave Sora an empty bottle, so you have to go fill it with fresh water. One of the places you can get is this little fountain right here. One of the neat things I like about Kingdom Hearts 1 is that there's a lot of different ways to like solve things like this. So like there's like 3 separate spots where you can get fresh water, and that's one of them. And then there's some on the other
I
side.
didn't know you could grab it there until I started running
Same,
this game.
same. I went to like the little waterfall
I
by the secret place.
I think
Yeah, that's why I used to grab
always got it from that one, but I don't remember. It's been so long.
So, Marathon, fun fact about this next segment, you know, like when you actually get the Keyblade, as a kid, I didn't know Riku was there, and I kept trying to kill the shadows with my wooden sword, and I almost quit the game, but I was in 4th grade, so I didn't know any better. Thank goodness I didn't.
It's a very good game.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very good game.
Yeah, so there's like 5 cutscenes in a row that you just skip here. The original release of this game actually did not let you skip cutscenes, so that's like one of the biggest benefits of specifically the HD re-release of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember having a conversation with my friend Swift about this, because like on any of the PS2 versions where you can't skip cutscenes, this is like 50 minutes into the run because all those cutscenes are really long, and we're not even 15 minutes into the run.
And shout out to those who were actually trying to push the category of the OG Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that it actually recently got a cutscene skip mod that has been seeing some.
That's right, I
activity.
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah. Also, for those who don't know what Final Mix means, it's basically just a re-release of the original game with extra content that originally was only released in Japan, but when they released the HD remaster, it was just the Final Mix version, so internationally we were able to get it. So this is another fight with Darkseid. It's kind of more or less the same thing. You can parry these blasts he's shooting at you, and if you do, you get like an extra XP point.
There you go.
And that is officially the end of the tutorial. That is also the first fight that you have to win. Any other fight on the island, if you lose it, the game just continues anyway. But that one, you must win.
Yeah, and there's a couple more that you don't have to win, and when it's beneficial, we will take advantage of that.
Yeah, I actually don't know if there's any point in beginner where it is, just because you take so little damage and you deal so much.
Yeah.
If you watch like Proud Mode or Level 1, there's a lot of fights where you just die because it's faster.
Is the only other one the carpet escape?
Oh yeah, you do die
right.
in carpet escape. In all categories. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different ways that you can get the next sequence in the game to trigger. The fastest way is to just kill 5 Heartless. So you just walk into this room, kill 5, and then just go straight into the accessory shop.
Yeah, it doesn't really tell you about that, but thankfully, if you know what you gotta do, you know what you gotta do.
Yeah, the game kind of tries to encourage you to just walk around the second district. Like, you'll walk into buildings, and then Donald and Goofy will walk out of a different building, like, where's the Keyblade Master? And that goes on for like 30 minutes, or you can just kill 5 Heartless and then talk to Sid.
So here we're fighting Leon, or Squall. He has 2 different things that he can open up with. He's gonna do 2, 2, 3. Messed it up. Okay, you had one hit that missed there.
Yeah.
That could have changed things pretty badly. Thankfully, there's usually a set strat. You didn't have to win that fight, but you do enough damage that it's not a big deal.
It also gives you an elixir later on for winning, so it's very useful. So this cutscene...
Is that why he gives you that?
I think so, yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so this cutscene, you actually cannot skip it until Riku starts opening his eyes. So that wasn't us just chilling for the sake of it. That's actually just the first time the game lets you pause.
Another long loading screen.
Low-res Yuffie pointing at something. I keep saying we should make that an emote on Twitch.
We should.
Like just on 7TV. Yeah, so Marathon's going to kill 1 soldier here and then 2 soldiers in the next room. This is going to give him just enough EXP so that in the next mob fight before the next boss, he will level up, which just gives him more strength to take out the boss quickly.
And this is where we're going to be introduced to our boys, Donald and Goofy. Goofy has an ether that we don't want him to use. We want to use it later.
If we hear Goofy say, yeah, then actually no.
No. So you saw those exclamation points above their heads? That's because Marathon was mashing triangle, which kind of alerts them to attack enemies.
Yeah.
That's going to be a recurring use.
Yeah, it's a feature that's exclusive to Kingdom Hearts 1 also.
First boss of the game, guard armor. Each of his limbs and his torso all have health, and there's an HP get it at a certain point. So you got to kill all of the hearts before you can kill him at once. There we go. So right now he's invulnerable. He's got to wait a minute. There you go. All right.
I don't think I heard him use the ether, so I think we're good.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
Okay. If he did, for whatever reason, we have a backup for it.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're going to get our main movement ability in dodge roll, and we're about to leave the world in just a moment to go to other worlds. And one thing that I like about traversing other worlds in this game is that, well, compared to someone like me who runs Kingdom Hearts 2, Gummy missions are complete auto-scrollers in every sense of the term in Kingdom Hearts 2. But in Kingdom Hearts 1, it's routed where you can speed it up a little bit based on your gear and, just based on the Gummy ship gear. So we take that very seriously because it saves a good bit of time.
There's also going to be something Marathon does here that is exclusive to the English version of the game, which should actually be, this is a good time to mention the difference between Japanese and English.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, so Japanese is the faster version of the game because the text is just that much faster. There's a couple other minor differences, but it's mostly just the text is stupidly fast. But there is a clip coming up here called the Waterway Clips that does not work on the Japanese version, and it saves about 30 seconds compared to the Japanese version, but the text on Japanese moves so fast that even with that 30-second time save, Japanese saves like 45 seconds. But Honestly, I think this clip is really cool, and that's one of the reasons that I played the English version. The other reason is that I don't read Japanese, but most top runners you will see play the Japanese version.
So that's all he did. Like, it's the first Trinity mark that he looked at. And if you looked at another Trinity before, it wouldn't work. He's just got to hold up, and now he's in the waterway here. And normally you're not supposed to access this part of the world until your next Travis Town visit later on in the game. You visit Travis Town like what, four mandatory
Four
times.
times, yeah.
So he should only be here after Deep Jungle before Agrabah, which is a good bit from now. So this saves a good bit of time.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts is actually just not a particularly skip-heavy run. A lot of it's just optimizing the the straightforward way to play the game. That is one case of an actual skip.
Yeah, not too many glitches either.
Yeah, it's definitely very much very much just optimizing how to play the game normally.
Yep, optimizing the intended mechanics.
That was actually a big reason why I wanted to run this game. Outside of course, just I love this game, but it was, again, I come from games like Ratchet and Clank or Halo or things like that where are you kidding? Wow. Where it's just way more movement intensive, a lot of different things happening at once, and then this was like just a completely different experience.
Yeah.
And it presented a lot of challenges for me at first, honestly, with like having the menu and like remembering menus and knowing like, oh, I forgot to put this ability on. Like my whole run is like on the line right now.
Yeah, that's how I felt too, learning this game, because I come from a background of Crash Bandicoot, which is very similar to Ratchet in the sense that it's a lot of movement, a lot of like crazy tech and glitches and skips. So coming into something like Kingdom Hearts is just a completely different kind of run. It's very refreshing to try.
Merlin Boogie,
And
by the way.
Oh yeah.
Shout
Let me
outs.
put in Violin Shake in the chat.
Yeah, shout outs to Violin pointing out that this song mixes really well with like a trap beat, and then someone made a trap beat remix mod for the PC version that is allowed for runs. So
Yeah. Back to the point about these speedruns, like I feel like learning about them, you realize the combat potential of the game that you wouldn't have casually, which is just a huge eye-opener.
yeah, even though Kingdom Hearts 1's combat is very like simplistic, I guess, compared to later Kingdom Hearts games, there's still quite a bit of depth to it.
So to the gummy missions now, we are given a baseline gummy ship, but part of what affects the speed of that is all the armor there. That slows it down. We don't like that, so we turn it into what the community calls a tissue box, where you have the cockpit, a gun, and an engine, and that is it. That speeds it up quite a bit. That just means, unfortunately, sometimes you got to be a little careful. You can't just like start a gummy mission and then go to the bathroom. I've made that mistake before.
The biggest trade-off is that with no armor, you have no health. Like, look at that health bar, or as the HUD calls it, ARM.
Arm.
Yeah. So this first gummy mission, if you hug the top right corner, you literally cannot die. So this will just be pretty straightforward.
So already we're saving a good bit of time by changing our gummy gear, and we're going to be upgrading it as we go along, including faster engines and also like what's called a haste G, which gives us like a Star Fox style boost, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. These first few gummy missions are pretty slow. As the game progresses and we get more parts to make it go faster, they go by quite a bit, like quite quickly.
Yeah.
But these first ones are a bit of a drag.
These are like, all right, you started your run, might want to stretch your hands a little bit, maybe get a drink of water.
Yeah. I will say though, and I'm pretty sure this is an extremely hot take, Kingdom Hearts 1 actually has my favorite type of gummy missions in the series. I just like the actual feeling of adventure you get going from world to world compared to like Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of feels like a rail shooter.
A bit.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is Wonderland. Shoutouts to this cutscene that you cannot skip on PC for some reason.
Only 2 fights in this world. There's one that's supposed to be forced that we skipped though.
Yeah, there's a lot of fights in this game that look like they're mandatory, and then you just walk out.
So you have to find evidence of what Alice's innocence.
Yeah,
Because that's how things work.
The Queen of Hearts thinks that Alice has tried to steal her heart. We know that it was actually the Heartless, but the Queen of Hearts doesn't listen because she's the Queen of Hearts. So we are tasked with finding evidence to prove Alice's innocence. There are 4 bits of evidence in total. You only need to find 1, so that is all we are going to find.
Yeah, they say you get like a special prize if you get all 4. That special prize is Blizzard, but you get that at the end of the world anyway, so it's not really needed.
Yeah.
So we have to kill these enemies here in order to open the chest. It's based on what your command menu is. You see how it's red right now? You can't open chests. You can't really interact with things around the world unless enemies are not around. So we had to get rid of them. Thankfully, that was pretty quick.
Here's another quirk on the English version. Yeah. Marathon's going to open the journal and immediately close it, and towards the end of this cutscene, you're going to see the text just get really messed up and not make sense, but it's also going to go by way quicker, and this actually saves a little bit of time. Yeah, so whichever one hit the ground first has the Heartless in it. I have an idea what it is, but...
Yeah, I don't want to commit it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's really hard to tell on 60 FPS.
Yeah,
Oh my God, Donald.
I think it was far left.
I thought it was one on the far left, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really hard because they drop like just so close together.
Yeah, on like older versions like PS3 and PS2, I think it's way easier to tell because those versions run at 30 FPS.
Yep. So we have to kill the tower here. We don't have to kill any of the cards. And you see how Marathon is really specifically timing his combos? If you go too fast, it actually won't do damage. It depends on the cranks. So now he can't lock onto this until he hits the tower once, which is so thoroughly annoying. There we go, he got the hit. Now he can wail on it.
This is a really, really annoying fight in terms of locking onto it.
Yeah, and the cards just, man, so many clanks there.
Not having Donald in that fight either was also a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're very quickly seeing the text, it's a bunch of stuff that just doesn't make any sense.
And it's funny because I remember being told about that. My friend Hefe, who I actually don't think I shouted out earlier. Shout out Hefe. Another race partner, another person that made me strive to be better. We were just in a VC one day and he was like, yeah, just open the journal. I was like, why? That's faster.
Yeah. I knew that glitch existed because I once saw it in like some glitch exhibition. I think it was after a GDQ run.
Or maybe RPG Limit Break or something.
Yeah, I remember because it was the Oathkeeper glitch, and it was that. And I knew it existed. I didn't know it saved time until a few weeks ago when I think Violin and Crispy Tacos told me it saved time, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just do it.
So Marathon's going to skip a somewhat forced fight here. You have to light these 2 lanterns, and then you have to take the shortcut back. And he has to open this latch before the command menu changes. So we have a specific movement for that. Let's see.
Basically, the red is lava. The moment you step on it, the Heartless spawn, but there is a small window between when they spawn and the command menu turning red. And in that small window, you can still open the hatch.
Nicely done. So now it's the second and final fight of this world, Trickmaster.
Probably my favorite of all the early game fights.
I can't say I share that opinion, but I respect it.
So the annoying thing about Trickmaster is like you can only hit him way high up, so you have to time your combos specifically. Thankfully, when he gets stunned a few times, he gets stunned like that, where you get to do some more hits.
The intention is that you're supposed to stand on the table and chair in order to hit him, but you can just reach him with a standard jump that is just faster. But sometimes he clanks you so much that it's just so hard to actually get through to him.
There you go.
That went really well. I can see this is why this is your favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know which early game boss is my favorite.
Unfortunately, a lot of them are kind of sour.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I loved Clayton, even though he was one of the most difficult for me as a child.
I think in the run, Clayton's a fun one.
He's a tricky one, but
not as tricky as Trickmaster.
Ah.
Aha.
These are the jokes we come up with at 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
So we'll be again going straight to the next world, Deep Jungle, and this is another gummy mission that kind of just goes along.
Yeah.
Thankfully, you do not have to beat Olympus Coliseum, which is the other of the 4 worlds that we could see so far.
Yeah, so in any percent, there are 3 worlds that get skipped. Olympus Coliseum, which is just always completely optional. And then in the second batch of worlds, you only have to beat 2 of the 3. So we skip Atlantica, which is the longest one, and then you also just skip all of the 100 Acre Wood, because that is just a mini-game collection that is completely optional.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
One thing to note is I'm actually pretty sure Halloween Town is technically longer than Atlantica, but when you beat Halloween Town, you get Gravity, which is super useful, so it's worth the extra,
it's a
like,
good point. It's just might just be
minute or
so much
two.
more worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Atlantica, we talked about earlier, there's not too much in the way of, like, glitches in this game in the traditional sense. Atlantica does have the only other notable, like, out of bounds in this game.
Yeah. There is an all worlds category, and that's where you would really see Atlantica shown off.
Yeah, all worlds, JJ, those kind of longer categories.
There is a chance we will see the outside of Atlantica anyway, but that's not ideal.
Not ideal.
We will cross that bridge when we get there.
We'll be calling chat for all the bless emotes.
We're gonna need them.
Yeah, so Deep Jungle, both casually and speed-wise, is pretty notorious for being the world where you just kind of go back and forth between every point. It's just a lot of backtracking, and it's kind of a drag, and it's pretty long. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a lengthy world.
Also here, Sora and Donald are fighting about what their priorities should be, so now this whole world is them basically not talking to each other, and then they make up at the end because friendship.
We got Sabor. Danger.
Sub-war danger. In this place. Yeah,
Very
so
nice.
we fight Sabor twice in the run. Sabor can be pretty annoying to fight just because she has such a low profile that, like, trying to hit her with air combos is just a pain. And sometimes
Yeah.
she has what I call the zoomies, which is she just jumps
Yep, I
around
was just gonna
constantly.
say.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Thankfully that fight went pretty well.
So, Marathon, is it in this world that you equip Scan?
Not on this difficulty.
Okay. So, what I'm talking about is this ability that lets a Marathon view enemy health. So, you've had that.
Super useful.
Do you have that now, or?
No, in beginner you actually don't get it until like early into Agrabah.
Okay.
It's just I think the staff gives it to you slightly later than
Right.
Yeah.
the sword.
But in early game, it's not the biggest deal. Like,
Yeah, in early game you can kind of just tell with the number of hits you do, like how much health an enemy has. Also, we kind of glazed over, this is the first world with an extra party member in Tarzan. I think the only extra party member that actually gets used in the run is Beast at the very end, so we'll be getting all these party members and just not be using them.
Beast and then Peter Pan for.
Oh yeah, Peter Pan is used
2
in
fights.
Neverland. Yeah. Yeah. Outside of that, like, we're gonna have a lot of party members that just don't see any use.
Yeah.
Some of them see use in different categories, but in beginner, it's usually just not worth switching to them.
Ariel is actually super useful in Atlantica for all worlds.
Oh, true, yeah.
It's right for the stop loops.
Yeah, here's also one of the first instances of save warping. The loads on PS4 are just so fast that it is genuinely faster to just leave the gummy ship and then warp to a save point you've already triggered than it would be to just traverse through the world normally. And we will be seeing a lot of save warping throughout the run.
And that's even prior to, load removers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the PC version times loadlessly because it has just a memory-based load remover. All of the console versions time RTA. But even with that RTA, that is still just much faster than going through the world.
So at the end of Wonderland, Marathon got Blizzard, and that's like a sort of shotgun spell, and the way he's going to be spamming this is, well, if you use it in the air and then land, it effectively auto-cancels, and that is really useful. And Blizzard also doesn't use that much MP, and we're going to need it for these upcoming set of fights against what we call Power Wilds, which are these monkey Heartless. which can be a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Blizzard is amazing for most of the run just to clear out mobs like this.
Oh man.
They're already starting.
Yeah.
But sometimes the power wilds just spread out like that, and then it's just a pain.
Yeah. Thankfully, because I'm going to save Orp again, I don't have to worry too much about conserving MP. But these next couple fights, that is a priority for sure.
Man, that one swiped right away. That was rough.
Yeah, so this next section is just going to be every single area in the world is just being overrun by the Heartless, and Jane is like, please go save the gorillas. So we go save the gorillas. And every time you save a gorilla, one of them just stares at you for 3 seconds, and then you just get a gummy block for unexplainable reasons. And it's just kind of funny to think about.
Oh man, I thought you were going to get both of them there. Sometimes they can just do that and just jump out of the way.
Yeah, the power wilds are really tricky to get with ground attacks, just because they move so erratically.
Okay.
So again, gorilla just stares at you, and then you just receive a gummy block.
If only we used them.
Yeah.
If only.
So we got 3 more of these waves or areas with power
Yeah,
wilds.
so we have this treehouse, and then they're gonna drop down to the cliff below, and then the bamboo grove. That is one of my favorite animations of the power wild, is when you parry them and they just look like they stubbed their toe. And they're just like, oh my god.
Yeah. So
Some of the Heartless have really funny animations in this game. Yeah, so that's where the ether that you got from Goofy is useful. If he had used it, then would have been a bit of a problem.
I love the interconnectedness of the world. You can drop down and you're already in the next area here.
Yeah, which we will see again later on at the end of the world.
Oh, where did that guy come from? He's kind of creeping in the corner. Right. One more power wilds here. He's actually gonna attack one, and then I believe he's gonna go and run to the corner. Yep, and then call his party members over to see if they can group them together. All right.
Okay. Donald kind of did it to me at the beginning. He shot that fire and knocked the one back, and then I missed my swing, but not too bad.
We know Donald is trying his best.
He's trying all right.
Yeah, so after you clear all the mobs, you have to come back in here. If you talk to Jane, she'll be like, I sure hope Mr. Clayton's okay, and then you walk out of the tent and you hear a gunshot. So yeah, so great. You head out over here and you have to fight Sabor again.
Fire!
She really likes to have the zoomies in this fight.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Fire
Oh,
is
she
good
does.
for just tearing through her health.
And Marathon doesn't want her to go. Oh, there, very nice.
Very
She
nice.
could have gone
That's
into the
very nice.
thicket there, save some time, or waste some time. Excuse me.
Also, you can't tell because we skipped the cutscene, but we totally just killed Sabor there. Like, the camera zooms in on her just, like, kind of lying there, and then it says, you received the white fang, so you also rob her of a tooth. Like, yeah, she's dead.
That makes
dead.
sense.
Yeah. That being said, the white fang is, like, pretty useful for most of the rest of the run.
It's super
so-
useful.
Yeah, some of the accessories that we get from bosses have a lot of utility because they're like stat boosting items.
Also here, you start a minigame and then just immediately end it. We actually also did that earlier twice with the jungle slider minigame. You just start it and end it and it immediately just puts you back in the camp. Yeah, so here there's a command prompt that says like, this fruit looks suspicious, so you just have to hit the fruit 15 times and the fight's over.
It has nothing to do with your strength set. It's just 15 hits.
Sora is just not a fan of citrus.
Nah.
That's why he left the island. He didn't want to eat his fruits and
Oh,
vegetables.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, you heard something about sea salt ice cream.
Or no, liver pepper.
Liver pepper ice cream, yes. Yeah, so again, jumping off this side here just takes you immediately to the cliff side, and this is where the fight with Clayton happens.
There's a pre-fight where you just gotta hit him, what, like 7 or 8 times?
I think it's 5. Oh, 6.
Six
Okay.
times, and if you're lucky, Donald will shoot a fire, and you can get him in one final combo.
Yeah, so now you fight Clayton and the stealth sneak together. You actually only have to defeat Clayton in this fight, so you just kind of wail on the stealth sneak until it gets angry and throws Clayton off. And then I think you have to hit Clayton like 18 times, and then the fight's just over.
So you got to stagger the Cell Snake a couple times to knock Clayton off. Then you can lay on Clayton. He's not being very cooperative now. There we go. So he's going to be doing a bunch of 1-2 combos, not doing finishers, because that would knock him away, which you really don't want. Oh, when this positioning is a bit rough.
Yeah.
Let's see, can you get a...
Donald, I know you're trying your best.
Where do you go? There you are. All right. Oh,
That was the stealth sneak dying.
goodness.
Okay.
Oh,
you know,
you actually, I don't think I've ever seen the stealth sneak die
Right.
in this fight.
Does that make a difference with EXP or anything?
I actually don't know.
So now we got some more platforming. You actually got to seal the keyhole, and usually it's right after every boss, but you got a little bit of extra to go to.
This is like the most notorious case of platforming. in the
yeah.
run.
Yeah.
It's very easy to fall off here, and sometimes Sora just doesn't cooperate. He'll grab a ledge and then just no. That was
Yeah,
oh,
platforming
okay,
in
that
this
was
game.
really good.
Platforming in this game basically screams this was an early PS2 game.
Yeah. If me not making it onto the palm tree on Destiny Island during the Riku race didn't give it away.
Yeah, it can be rough for sure. Yeah, so here it's just gonna some text boxes to match through. Here it says you get the jungle key, which is the jungle king, which is your first extra keyblade. That'll get equipped like early in the Agrabah. Yeah, so this next part is the longest gummy section. It's 2 gummy sections back to back because you have to travel to Wonderland and then to Traverse Town.
Yeah, there's some plot that we got to get through before we get to our next world of Agrabah.
Yeah, so in both Wonderland and Deep Jungle, sealing the keyholes in the world gave out like a Navi-G gummy piece. So you have to go back to Traverse Town, and you're supposed to talk to Leon, and he'll tell he and Aerith will tell you go talk to Sid. He'll know about it, but we actually already watched that cutscene because of the waterway clip, so we're just gonna go straight to Sid.
And the game also intends for you to fight opposite armor, which would seal the keyhole, complete the world for Traverse Town. We don't have to do that yet, though, but we're going to do that. It's required before, or to get to Hollow Bastion, which is much later. We'll be at much higher stats then. We're going to do it then.
Yeah, so basically you can divide Kingdom Hearts into multiple acts. I would say the first act ends when you finish Traverse Town 2 and you give the 2 Navi G pieces to Sid so he installs it on your ship. And then, again, like Fritz said, you're supposed to fight the opposite armor, and then when you try to give that piece to Sid, he'll say, oh, this is one of those ones that comes in pairs. You have to find the other part. And you find the other part in Neverland. But again, you don't have to fight the opposite armor right now, and you're just going to be so much higher level later on, and the opposite armor stats aren't going to change. So it just makes more sense to fight the opposite armor after Neverland.
Not just stats, but you'll have incredible abilities, namely Ars Arcanum, which is just a flurry.
Yeah, that just tears through opposite armor.
Here's Wonderland, but we are not going there. No more need to go there because we need to go to Traverse Town.
Yeah, the other convenient thing is that after going to Traverse Town 2, we're going to get the Warp Gummy, which just lets us immediately teleport back to any world we've already been to. So that'll save a lot of trouble on this.
In addition to that, we're actually going to be upgrading our gummy ship with, is it a Fire G Marathon? Just the next level of...
Fire G and a haste.
And the haste, yep. So it'll be going faster, and then it can also boost. So.
Yeah, this is where the items and money we've collected is important, because we're basically going to sell everything to Sid except for the elixirs that we have and the White Fang. And selling everything else will give us just over 1,200 money, which is the amount you need to buy the Fire G and the Haste G.
And that's the only shop trip, right?
I believe so.
Yep.
After this point, money doesn't matter. Yeah. Once again, hugging the top left corner here just doesn't... You're guaranteed to not die. You'll take a hit like Marathon just did, but you will not die here.
As far as I'm aware, the damage you take as a gummy ship does not depend on the difficulty. Is that right? Or is that a KH2 thing that I'm thinking about?
I think beginner makes it so that the gummy deals a lot of damage. I don't know if it affects it how much it takes.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah. It's kind of inconsequential, really. So.
So it's here when we're back in Traverse Town, you notice a huge difference in movement speed with having dodge roll, because here we previously did not have it.
Yeah, dodge roll definitely helps a lot, and it's much better to just time your dodge rolls than it is to mash. If you mash, you just actually go quite a bit slower. Yeah, so we tell Sid, like, hey, what does this gummy do? And he's like, y'all are dumb, why do you not know what this means? And Sora's like, we kind of just need to do this, dude, like, come on. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. And then he tells us how navigation gummies work.
It's very on brand for Sid.
Yeah. Basically, as abrasive Sid can be in this game, being rated E compared to Final Fantasy VII being rated T. Also, that text box just does not go away if you mash. You just have to wait for it to stop. Yeah, so again, selling everything but the elixir and the white fang. And then he has 1285, which is, again, just enough. And then we're going to gummy warp to Merlin's house. Because Sid is like, I'll fix your gummy ship, but can you deliver this book to the house in the 3rd district? And Merlin's telling you, this book has mystical properties, I'll leave it over there for you to examine. It's the 100-acre wood, we're going to ignore it.
Yeah, so that's the game's way of introducing you to it. And it also will introduce you to summons. This is where, like, earlier when we talked to Leon in the waterway, he gave us, the Earthshine?
Yeah,
Yep.
which is Simba, and Simba is by far the most useful summon in this run.
Oh yeah.
But we will also see...
Oh god.
We will also see Dumbo a little bit in the run. Also, despite how this looks, this is actually slower than, like, jumping on the rocks.
So even though we had the item for Simba, we weren't able to redeem that until now in the story, which I'm curious if that would change anything in the run. I doubt it.
Not really, no.
If they didn't have the long summon opening animation every time, I'd be interested to see how that would change the run.
Yeah, so that was actually a plot-relevant cutscene that just got skipped. This is where Sora reunites with Riku. And then this is the only time that the 3rd district is completely safe from Heartless, so you just use that as an opportunity to open that door to the 1st district. So to make sure you watch that plot-relevant cutscene, the game actually makes it so you cannot leave the world, so you can't save warp back to the 1st district, so that's why we had to walk this way. And this is just a bunch of lore exposition.
So it's those kinds of text boxes that we were talking about that makes JP so much faster. It's not a skippable cutscene like these guys here that you have to scroll through.
Yeah, in later Kingdom Hearts games, you can just skip anything regardless of if it's a text box or spoken dialogue, but in Kingdom Hearts 1, you can only skip the actual, like, spoken dialogue cutscenes. Also, we missed Maleficent going, you say?
You say?
Yeah,
that is the fun part of just playing any game where you skip cutscenes. It's just listening to how they get cut off.
Buddy?
Yeah, that air soldier was out for blood.
Dude, he was.
Yeah, so here Sid's like, surprise, I'm actually in the gummy market, which is apparently a market.
Yeah, he now makes his living standing in a corner.
Yep, and then here he will buy Fire G.
Fire G and Haste.
Yeah, he's like, the gummy market is my real job. The accessory shop is a side gig.
It's a tough economy these days.
So here we'll be, again, adding the Fire G and the Haste G. As you can see, we're truly the masters of spaceship architecture.
So even though you can see on the map that the warp hole looks like it's really close to Traverse Town, that is very misleading. It is quite a bit faster to warp to Wonderland and then to travel to the warp hole.
Yeah, the map is not very descriptive on how far distances actually are. There's a couple instances where it looks like it would be faster to go one way and then it's not.
Oh, and then there's the only other death abuse with the gummy mission.
Oh, well, it's not really a death abuse, is it?
It's a quit abuse.
It's a quit out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would have the same result if you died. It's just faster.
Yeah, that's how it was discovered. Thank you,
okay.
Spike Vegeta.
Yeah.
Didn't he also discover the carpet escape the same way?
That I'm not sure.
I remember hearing that.
It was one of them.
It's funny how many things you can find on accident in Speedrun.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you see how the gummy missions now seem a bit more difficult. You know, this is not something you can definitely take lightly. You gotta be really careful, or at least somewhat careful, given the amount of health you have.
Yeah, some of the later gummy travel sections, it can be very easy to just bump into a lot of things at once, and your health bar will just tank.
I have definitely died on the way to End of the World.
I was just gonna say.
You get overwhelmed by so much stuff.
Yeah. And the depth perception's not too great. Again, PS2 game.
Into Agrabah we go.
Very common nickname in the speedrun community for this world is Agabra, because it is very rife with things that can go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so here we're going to meet Jasmine, and she's going to tell us that Jafar has taken over the city, but I was rescued by Aladdin, and then Jafar's like, Aladdin? Ooh, tell me more. And then he summons these Heartless that you're supposed to fight, and we're going to not do that. Yeah, so going up into Aladdin's house, Marathon's going to free the carpet. Donald's going to say, it flew out to the desert, let's follow it. And then a couple of things Marathon's going to do in this room before he does. He's going to touch the save point so we can save warp to it later. And then this has a Mega Elixir. I cannot figure out how Aladdin, the poor person who lives on the streets, has a Mega Elixir, but here we are. We just
You know, now that you mention it, where did he find that?
I don't think he did. It was in the chest. He never opened it.
he was like, keep it for a rainy day. Right, so again, more Blizzard spam here on the bandits.
So like entry-level runners like me would use Simba here, which makes the fight somewhat trivial. But when you summon Simba, it has a very long intro animation. So upper-level runners decide not to do that and to use Blizzard spam again. That was pretty good.
That was really
very
good, except for that
clean.
last guy who hit on me.
I see.
I see.
So we mentioned that that Marathon touched the save point in Aladdin's house. That's really important. Otherwise, well, the way save points work is if you were in the room but didn't touch the save point, you can't warp there, which is a strange design choice.
Yeah, and this is a bypassing what the game wants you to do. So you come back and like certain parts of Agrabah that you were at before are blocked off, and you kind of have to like maze your way through to get to Aladdin's house, or you could just save warp to it. So coming into this room has the lock that opens the way to the palace gates. There was a small chance that this room would have spawned black fungus, which are extremely annoying Heartless that take forever to kill. So if that happened, Marathon would just walk out of the room and walk back in. There's one other spot in the run where black fungus can spawn. We just hope that doesn't happen.
Would never happen.
Surely not.
So that opens the door to the next required boss, Pot Centipede. So how are we going to get back there? By going back to Aladdin's house.
Or like this.
Oh yeah, you don't have to.
You go into Aladdin's house on PC because the load timer pauses.
That's
during all
why
the
I'm
black
thinking
screens.
that. Okay, that's why
Yeah.
I'm thinking it.
I actually didn't know that was a difference. I just do it on both.
I found that out and I was like, oh.
Yeah, so this fight's pretty straightforward. There is one little quirk in that there is a specific spot that you want the fight to end, because this is the one time that the entire city of Agrabah is one loaded zone. And where the game puts you when the fight ends depends on where you finish this fight. So Marathon dealt the last hit and is just beelining to the main street.
Yeah.
Because our next place is the desert.
Yeah, so he got it, so he's in this room. If he had finished the fight anywhere else, he would have spawned in that room, and it would have taken a couple more loads to get to the desert. The worst is when the Pot Centipede just goes completely to the right.
To the right
and
room,
you're
yeah.
just like, well, gonna lose some time.
Yeah.
And going from that great fight into this great fight with the Tiger Head.
Right, so what Marathon's going to do is try to get on the back of his head right now, which is more difficult than it can seem very nice. Just because we're doing these one hits on one of the eyes. You got to kill both eyes, but as soon as you kill one of them, he gets a lot more aggressive. But there's a way we're going to go about it. He's going to put his nose in the ground in just a minute. So there, oh, he didn't put his nose in the ground. So Marathon's going to be careful here. If he falls off, that's going to be a lot of time lost. There you go.
Okay, good.
Very nice.
I thought for a second I was about to swing and then like roll off a Donald, and I was like, man, I know you're trying your best, but please.
That is one of those fights that even casually is extremely obnoxious.
Yeah. And like Fritz alluded to, you can get knocked off, and if you do, it's so hard to get back on.
Yeah, so upon immediately entering the Cave of Wonders, Marathon just rolled off the right side. This brought him into the lower section, which takes him to the Silent Chamber, and then that will take us to the Hidden Room. There's a pillar in the Hidden Room that you have to hit with fire, because if you don't, it blocks the entrance to the Lamp Chamber, and that is where we were going to fight Jafar.
We got Jafar and Genie Jafar.
Yeah, so just preemptively, the Jafar fight has a fast cycle that can be very tricky to get. I'm sure Marathon's going to want some focus on that.
You want us to be quiet for that?
Talk as much as y'all want.
All right. Jafar is probably one of the very fun fights to learn once you learn to run this game.
It's very cool to get down, but it's also like miserably slow to mess
Oh
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've practiced this fight several times over, and I still don't think I've gotten it in a run.
Pretty much every fight in Agrabah can go really south if you're not careful.
So what he's going to do is he's going to hit Jafar twice and then use a blizzard. That's going to make Jafar use this little magic shield, but then he's going to try to run away, and Marathon's going to time his attacks. So you see, when he started to move away, Marathon wanted to really make sure, just time a hit so he could stay there. Unfortunately, mistimed it a little bit.
Okay, he should disappear now. Okay. That's fine. I can get him to. Okay.
Goofy just got decked.
He took him for the team there.
How much health do you have?
Too much.
Oh,
Okay, thank God.
there we go.
Nice, okay.
If he went away again, that would have been really rough.
Yeah, I would have had a.
That also can be pretty tricky if, like Marathon, you just equip Scan later. It's much safer to equip Scan like early in Agrabah, but it's slightly more optimal to equip it in the middle of Monstro, so or Halloween Town, one of the two.
It's Halloween Town.
Halloween Town, yeah. It just saves some menuing.
Yeah. So that was the essence of some of the more difficult Kingdom Hearts speedrun fights. That was just a slightly mistimed singular hit that cost a good like 30 seconds.
Yeah, so the Genie Jafar fight, you can hit him with Blizzard, but it's much more efficient to hit Iago when you're able to.
And hopefully he gives me the good pattern. Okay, he is. Thank you.
Yeah, thankfully they share the same health bar. That'd be quite the pain if they didn't.
For sure. Yeah, if Iago goes very nice. Yeah, if Iago just goes in the wrong spot, this can take forever because you just can't reach him, but that was very, very clean.
You have to like pray that Genie Jafar like spawns up close, and then you can hit him with Blizzard, and sometimes he spawns in other parts of the map and you can't even hit him, and then you're just waiting for Iago to fly back, and
Yeah, so
it can become a disaster.
So this is Carpet Escape. This is the one spot in Beginner that you want to die, because if you die, the game's just like, close enough, and just proceeds to the next part.
Yeah, because you haven't had a save after the boss, so they want to give you that save. This is actually a bit harder to do than you might think, because like the game's trying to pull you along a certain path, and you're trying to go left and right while you're doing that.
Yeah, this is more of like a cinematic thing than anything.
Right.
I've actually never accomplished this.
Yeah, I've never cared to learn it.
I've tried. I've gotten as low as like
It's-
that last health.
There you go.
but yeah.
It's pretty frustrating.
Yeah. How much does it save?
10 seconds, I think?
Yeah, so it's not like a huge amount, but it's just kind of like, if you can get it, it's nice.
And that's 10 seconds on beginner. You know, in other categories, it's much more.
Yeah.
You'll die faster on like standard or proud.
All right, decent Agrabah.
A little fun fact with the Carpet Escape, there's a mod of this game called Kingdom Hearts Critical Mix that kind of gives it a more like KH2-esque faster pace, and the Oblivion exists in that game as a bonus weapon that gives you extreme strength, but also makes you die in one hit to everything. And if you use it to fight Genie Jafar and then do the Carpet Escape, you do die in one hit. So
That's funny. So we're coming up to Monstro now, and we mentioned that you can do any 2 of the 3 middle worlds in this like second tier, and Halloween Town and Atlantica are both pretty long, but Monstro's really short.
Yeah, Monstro is like by far the shortest world in the run. It's like, I think, including like travel time, like the split between beating Genie Jafar and beating the last boss in Monstro is like 7 minutes, which is
That sounds about
the
right.
entire prologue's length.
Yeah.
And that includes the gummy mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just so you know, like he could have gone north to Halloween Town, or I guess south a little bit to Atlantica, but Monstro shows up regardless of which path you choose. We choose Halloween Town because the benefits of gravity are immense. It's a very powerful spell that we're gonna get.
Especially in late game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's super important for the last 2 main worlds that we're gonna go to.
So all of the objects here disappear. That's the sign that Monstro has shown up. Yeah, you can only mash so quickly through this text. It's a little bit scripted.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to the Detonator and the other folks who would make mods for this to like speed up all the text and speed up all these animations. Made it much more fun to practice.
Shout out to anyone working on mods for this game, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Also shoutouts to Monstro's human teeth.
Looks like he flosses.
Monstro is very particular about his dental hygiene. So here you're gonna swim through. I think is that Monstro's saliva. That's kind of gross, but yeah. So that'll just take you to this cutscene that you skipped, and this takes you to the boat where you meet Geppetto.
Looking
then-
for a Pinocchio.
Yeah, Pinocchio runs off into Monstro's like inners, and you have to chase Pinocchio, and then Riku shows up and kind of just goads things and provokes the problem.
Wouldn't let me swing
Basically,
there.
Riku is very gradually becoming more of a jerk than he already was because he's being influenced by Maleficent.
Yeah, more on that later.
So the only 2 fights in this are against, I was going to say Pot Centipede, that is incorrect. Parasite Cage is the name.
The other PC.
That's right.
Yeah, so the goal is to get to Chamber 4, which
Why do you...
triggers this cutscene, and then the first fight with the Parasite Cage will be coming up here.
And this is just where he's going to be wailing full 3-hit combos, and if he keeps timing them correctly, he will keep staggering Parasite Cage, and that will be the entire fight. So let's see how it goes.
You have to remember to zoom in on Pinocchio when the fight ends. Also neat quirk with this fight is that you have Riku as like a non-official party member in it.
I think Riku was just the one that messed it up there because Riku staggered Parasite
Yeah.
Cage. All right, so let's see. Okay, you able to make that work?
Oh, where is
There
he?
we go.
Oh, he's hidden
He's
though.
blocked. It's like Mike Wazowski. Yeah, Riku's opponent's party member doesn't mean he's helpful. So we come down here, and then there's going to be a chest on the ship that's going to give us high jump, which is the first shared ability. And we need that to get to Monstro's bowels. And this is where we'll fight the second the Parasite Cage a second time. It is the same Parasite Cage.
Slightly different fight, but not too much. Oh,
Largely the same idea. Ooh, truffles. That's good luck.
So apart from the terrain difference, the only other difference in the strat of this fight is if he gets, I guess, staggered or hurt enough, then like that little orb inside him, he'll like open his mouth and it'll be revealed. If that happens, you don't want to do finishers on him, so he'll be doing them from 1-2s. Let's see.
It'll also
rude.
gradually drop HP when that happens, but doesn't really matter. Roughly the same idea as the first fight.
This guy is not getting staggered.
He's being very rude.
Goofy's getting down with his bad self in the background.
Yeah. You want to do something, man? Like I said, they're trying their best.
There we go.
I like how you finish the fight and the Parasite Cage just immediately just like flinches back.
Yeah, that was something.
That was one of the Parasite Cages of all time.
I would say so.
That truly was a fight in this game.
Usually a finisher is supposed to hurt.
Yeah, so all of this roughen and toughen in Monster's belly has upset him, so he's gonna spit you out and then stare at the camera in immense disappointment. Just like, he just gives us this stink
That
eye.
glare.
Yeah, he's just like, come on,
Yeah.
guys.
He's so upset.
Yeah, so despite the fact that you get force out of Monster, we actually have to go back for an item. This is actually
important
something that changed in, I don't know which version of Kingdom Hearts changed this, but in at least like the oldest versions of the game, if you travel to Monstro, there was actually a chance that he would just not show up, and Goofy would be like, "Monster's not here. Let's leave before he shows up again." Which is, I think, was technically optimal. But here, if you warp to Monstro, he will always show up, which just makes the run consistent because you have to get an item called the Water Gleam, and that is the summon gem that will let us unlock Dumbo.
And, well, thankfully, it's the route we have to go into anyway, because we have to go past Monster to Halloween Town, so we'd
Yeah.
get swallowed up
It
anyway.
actually all works out really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you get spit out of Monstro, it sends you back to Agrabah, because that's the last actual world you did. But then we're traveling to Halloween Town anyway and past Monstro, so it's just faster to warp to him and grab Water Gleam on the way.
So that will give us this summon Dumbo, which we will not use for combat. We will use for some clever, minor skips.
Yeah. This is the shortest Gummy section because Monstro cut off like most of it, so this Gummy section lasts like 30 seconds, and then we'll be in Halloween Town.
I don't even think it's 30 seconds. It's
I timed it once and I was like, this is really short.
yeah.
It's very quick. Like we're gonna see it in like soon.
Yeah.
And there it is.
And here we go.
Marathon, I don't know if you can see chat, but Glitch says, "What's up, gamers?"
Yo, shout out Glitch. We were talking about PS2 earlier, and there's as of the last like few months with the cutscene remover coming up, there's the 3 like big PS2 runners. We mentioned Sains and we mentioned Swift earlier, but we got to mention Glitch as well.
Indeed.
For sure. So here, Marathon's gonna jump up to a higher section to get a power up, which is does exactly what it sounds like it does.
Yep. It's a permanent strength increase.
Also, shoutouts to another Kingdom Hearts and Crash Runner, Crispy Tacos. Once I was watching him run this game, and in this section he started singing along to the song, but he forgot the lyrics to This Is Halloween, so he said something, something, something strange, and I will never let him forget that.
Wow.
Yeah, so here, Jack and the Doctor are making an artificial heart because they want the Heartless to dance at the Halloween festival. Sora unlocks the heart and nothing goes right, and now the Heartless are attacking people because that's what they do.
Pretty important menu here. Finally putting on Scan, putting on Hurricane Blast, which is a different air combo finisher. And he's also going to be equipping a handful of Ethers because they're going to be put to use. Or did you put on Ethers right now?
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, so Jack starts with 2 Ethers, and Halloween Town has 1 permanent save point, which is in the first place we showed up, which is Guillotine Gate. The only other save spot is in Oogie's Manor, and it doesn't even stay permanently, so it is very, very hard to recover your HP and MP in this world. So taking Jack's Ethers is just the most efficient way to clear these fights quickly, because you burn through your MP really quickly, and it's just faster to use Ethos to replenish them to try and go back to a save point.
Getting rude.
Another thing you'll see that Marathon did is he equipped an air combo plus, which means his air combos will have a total of 4 hits instead of 3. But believe it or not, that makes a pretty sizable difference for bosses that have quite a bit of health, which is going to be the recurring situation later.
Yeah. There will also be a second air combo plus towards the end of the game, so in the end game, you can do up to 5 hits in your air combos. So Halloween Town's kind of like Deep Jungle, where you kind of just go back and forth between the lab and other stuff. It's not quite as egregious as Deep Jungle. There's a lot less places you need to go.
Well, you're just playing peekaboo. It's Halloween.
That is true.
He's got a point.
Another little thing I like about Kingdom Hearts 1 that gets especially made clear with Halloween Town and Atlantica is that the Disney-based worlds very loosely adapt their source material compared to some of the later Kingdom Hearts games that will just directly copy the movies but then add Sora, Donald, and Goofy. Whereas this world and Atlantica straight up do not follow the plots of their movies at all, which that's one of the things I really like about the first Kingdom Hearts, is that it really takes its own spin on a lot of the worlds. And Kingdom Hearts 3 does a pretty good job of that as well, with like about half of the worlds in it. The Pixar worlds are pretty unique stories, and so is the Big Hero 6 world. But like Kingdom Hearts 2, I think particularly has an issue of just blatantly just doing the movie's plot and then only changing little things. I'm surprised that didn't work. That,
Right.
Yeah,
Me too.
That elevator can be pretty funky.
That's just a little shortcut to get back and forth between. Nice enemy skip, by the way. We were busy.
That curly hill that we were at, that's the other place where the black fungus can spawn, and that's a very bad place for them to spawn.
Yeah, because you have to take the elevator back on over.
Yeah, it's faster to just ignite the elevator again and then re-enter the room, but that burns MP, which is very scarce in this world.
Yeah.
Because you want to have as much MP as possible for the fight with Lock, Shock, and Barrel. So again, here, use fire to ignite the elevator. Also, like, doing the air fire gives you enough time to just land on it. Thankfully, there were no black fungus spawns. We will not see
We
them
told
in this run.
you.
So far, we have only seen the rare truffles, which is great, because the rare truffles are cool. We might actually see them again here.
That's right. And then coming up is what is called the community jumps to get up this Oogie's Manor to Lock, Shock, and Barrel, and that's we'll just let Marathon do it. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah. Oogie's Manor in general is just some of the coolest platforming, and well, it's probably the coolest platforming in this game.
I would say so. I think it's cool as well. The reason why this is called, quote unquote, the community climb is because all of these different jumps were found by different people.
Yeah, it was just a group effort to pull out this out. It was so cool, we're going to do it again.
Just don't fall. If you fall off, that's a big time loss.
Yeah.
That's the bathtub climb of shame.
Yeah. Okay.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Unless I were to die with this fight, which, I mean, I would never die, but
Surely not.
surely not.
Nothing ever goes wrong in Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
One. Very close. Oh, just one little up tap. Very nice.
That's really good.
I was listening to see if Shock actually says "have a heart" like you said she does, but she didn't say anything.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, no. Marathon and I were debating this earlier. Like, what does Shock say when you hit her? He says that she says "have a heart." I always heard "not so hard," so I don't know what she says. All I know is that she just sounds like Lil from the Rugrats because it's the same
Yeah.
voice actress.
It's just funny that you mentioned that. You know, in KH2, when you summon Genie, he says, "Make some room." but I think he's saying exit brew.
There's just there's funny things with the voice codes that just sound weird. There's a member of my community, Supersphere, who whenever I play Kingdom Hearts 2 Rando, when he hears Zigbar say R for reload, he's saying ah burrito. I don't even know what Oogie Boogie's saying here. Yeah,
So he's got to kill these enemies, and now this is could be a make or break fight. Good. So he activated that platform, and Donald and Goofy are not there, which is good because it's only 10 hits that he can do before Oogie's going to knock him away.
Goofy's not the biggest problem because sometimes he'll just lay back. If Donald is with you, he will throw a fire at Oogie.
Donald thinks he's him, but no one tell him.
All right. So you see, can you hit these dice?
Nah.
Oh man. So now Oogie's going to do an attack based on the number that came. It's just an enemies, which is pretty okay pattern. If he hit all of them back, he would skip right to this platform phase right here.
This elevated section sucks because if you lift it there, you actually cannot reach Oogie.
Right.
So this should be good. Very nice.
And that's quite a bit of EXP.
That is like not a super hard fight, but it's an easy one to lose a lot of time in. If you just get stuck with Donald or Goofy, or if you just hit the wrong button. Anything that forces you to do more than 2 cycles of that just loses a huge amount of time.
Yeah, it's quintessential. Like, well, in principle, this is what you do. In practice,
Because Oogie rolled the Heartless, though, we did not get to hear my favorite voice clip of his is when he just goes, "Buzz saws." Yeah, so Oogie gets so mad and enveloped in darkness that he merges with his house, and I don't know about anybody else, but with the way housing prices can be, I would definitely merge with my house too. Like, I get it. I vibe with you, Oogie. Yeah, so you have to basically destroy, I think it's 6 of these dark orbs to finish the fight. This is pretty straightforward. It's like 4 or 5 hits, just take them out. This fight is notoriously awful on level 1, but it's not too bad for a beginner.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a very interesting strat, but it's incredibly difficult because in level 1 you do just absolute chip damage.
Yeah, and after you destroy a certain number of orbs, Oogie's manner gets way more aggressive and just starts lobbing everything at you.
You see the enemies, you see the fire.
Yeah, so the strat in level 1 is to get all of the orbs to 1 HP and then just rapidly kill them all at the same time. But here you just straightforward just beat them all in order.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep, so beating Oogie's Manor gives us gravity, which, like we said, is extremely important magic that will be used in the last 2 worlds in the run.
So, it's time.
Yep. If you have bless emotes, folks, can we have those now, please?
Yeah, that would be a great time.
Yep, so we are coming up to the infamous hook ship. So basically, the next world in the run is Neverland, and Neverland spawns by you running into Hook's ship. If you have cleared all 3 worlds in this area, so Atlantica, Monstro, Halloween Town, Hook's ship will always show up. If you have only cleared 2 of them, it has a 75% chance of showing up, and if you miss it, it loses 50 seconds.
Nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were racing this earlier. Marathon got it first try. I got it 3rd try.
It's like one of the worst things to happen in a race.
Yeah, the PC version of this game actually has a mod that guarantees Hook Ship shows up 100% of the time, and it is allowed for runs because it does this part doesn't affect anything gameplay-wise if you miss it. It's just like, well, I just lost the run to bad luck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really glad the community was on board with that.
Yeah. I definitely am someone who tends to lean more towards like being a purist on a game, like not wanting to mod it, but for something like that where the ideal scenario doesn't change anything gameplay-wise, I think it's fair to just eliminate that aspect of RNG.
It sucks as well seeing people lose, like, world record potential runs or, like, huge, like, PB potential runs because they simply got unlucky and lost 50 seconds.
Yeah, like, there's a difference between RNG where it's like, there was bad RNG, but there was still something you could have done about it.
Adaptable RNG.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing you can do if you miss this. Definitely one of the better decisions, I feel. So this is about here where it should show up.
Right about here.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
All right.
Yeah, if that hadn't faded out, then we would have been seeing Atlantica, which we
Yeah.
will not be seeing. So that is great. The bless emotes were enough.
Indeed. And this is where there's the famous "You're stupid."
Oh yeah, the classic Kingdom Hearts parody videos of 2005 voice clip. There's so many great lines in this series. I love Kingdom Hearts. You don't say.
You
and then
don't
you see a zoom in on Sora's face.
Yeah, that's the Sora frame. That's my shout out my friend Devil Snake. They don't play this game, but that's their favorite part of the whole run is that one frame of Sora's face.
I just want to really quickly shout out the battle theme in this world. I love this song.
Oh yeah.
It's also, I'm a sucker for songs with funky key signatures. This song is in 12/8 time signature. What?
That's my favorite line in
Yeah.
the game.
There's so many good ones in Neverland.
Yeah.
What is it, Tink?
What is it, Tink?
So this first boss fight is anti-Sora, and let's take a drink now.
Yeah, this fight can
If we
be
can get to him.
pretty ruthless.
The terrain is rough. Donald and Goofy can get in your way, and
Anti-Sora has a very low profile as well, so
Yeah.
ideally you want to like...
And he
ca-
likes to hide a lot too.
Yeah. Another spell we got, I think, for beating Parasite Cage was Stop. So ideally you want to cast Stop to freeze it in place and then like do a 4-hit air combo, but he's so low profile that's just really rough to do. And he hits like a truck. This is also a strat you can do.
can do I think three more hits, and then a full combo. So now he's going to try to loop him by. So there he went away. He wants to try to hit him before he goes away, and do a finisher on him. So there's 2 hits, then a finisher. He's going to go away, hit him, and he wants to hit him now. Ooh. So now this is rough because he spawns these clones, which you don't want to happen. So it's that hit that will allow Marathon to loop him. So if he's doing well, this is what's going to keep happening. Very nice. Ooh.
Oh.
So it's
early there.
really tight to get that singular hit there.
This is absolutely a fight where it's completely valid to use a much safer strat than the optimal one, because this is a brutal fight.
Is that the first use of Cure?
Possibly.
All right.
I'm gonna cope and try and get. I'm not gonna make it.
If you get
If
to
you-
that door fast enough, you get a quick fade, but it's pretty tight.
So that's another fight where, a very small mistake can cost quite a bit. But it was a decent fight.
There was an
No.
attempt there.
There was an attempt there. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, so a bit of menuing just to equip some abilities. We're actually going to unequip some abilities from Peter Pan and then customize Peter Pan and Goofy to basically always heal Sora or give him MP recovery, which is going to be very useful for the next fights coming up.
Oh my God! Get me down here.
We're trying.
We're trying.
Yeah, so Peter Pan temporarily leaves the party. but
Actually, probably should do this then.
Also, decent menu. It's quite a sizable menu.
yeah, that's one of the...
I think that is the biggest menu in the game.
either that one or the one in Hollow Bastion 2.
That's what I was
Yeah, that
they're,
was
they're
also
both pretty lengthy.
pretty long.
Yeah, so here there's going to be a cutscene followed into a mob fight.
Quite a codfish.
Yeah, quite a codfish, that Riku. And
Is this
then-
our first use of Simba?
Yes.
All
Yep.
right.
Yeah, so we're going to switch Peter Pan into the party because he's going to be useful for the Captain Hook fight, but we're going to immediately cast Simba. So Simba is a summon where you charge, like, basically a huge, like, area of effect burst attack. The longer you charge it, the stronger it is, but it's riskier to charge it because if you get hit, you just drop
Yep,
it.
because you're vulnerable while you're charging. So that was a 3-tick. Now he's going to do 2 4-ticks. But then the fight's not over yet.
Yeah, so then you still have to take out this battleship because Simba's not enough to kill it.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, we can fly now.
Yeah, that's
Oh
it.
yeah.
Tinkerbell was like, here you go.
By the way.
By the way,
You can only fly in this world, by the way. We're not that broken.
if only.
Yeah, so Hook is another fight that can be very tricky. Yeah.
He's
you
already
want
started.
to cast Stop on him, but there's some points where you can't.
So the goal is to do stop and then do a full air combo. Oh, the other annoying thing is that Battleship's there. Not only can he knock you like that, but he can also heal Hook, which is really rough.
Also, if you kill the Battleship, he just summons another one, so there's no point in fighting
Yeah.
it.
Oh, thank you, Goofy.
No.
Yeah,
last
I-
hit.
I knew I was greedy. That's okay.
That's-
That's
I-
fine.
I would have done the same thing. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that does spawn him back before the Simba mod
Yeah.
fight, so we have to do that again. It's such a brutal fight that on, at least on level 1, but I think also in Proud, it's actually a strat too.
If you backtrack into
yeah.
into the cabin.
Yeah, there's a lot of boss fights in this game where you can actually leave the arena and then it just resets the boss fight when you walk back in. And you do that for Hook here on higher difficulties. The fight starts, you walk back into the cabin and walk back out. So then if you die, you just
start back in the
the
Hook
again,
fight.
Yeah.
Hook gave you some garbage positioning there, like halfway
Yeah,
off the
he
ledge.
was
Yeah, that is a notoriously difficult fight to do fast. Especially because, again, like, Hook can only be stopped in certain, like, animations. Like, if he's doing a certain attack, stop does not affect him.
It's almost like he parries the stop, which is so strange.
He also has one attack where he just, like, flails his sword around, and, like, you cannot hit him during that. Alright, we go again.
There we go.
That's much better.
This is looking much better. Yep.
You can also see where the ethers and MP recovery with Goofy and Peter Pan are huge.
Oh, and he stopped the battleship too. That's great.
Very
Much
nice.
better, much
Yeah.
better. That's the way the fight's supposed to go.
Yeah.
More or less.
It usually doesn't.
Peter
but that
Pan
is
was
how
a
it's supposed
homie
to
there
go.
too. He was just like,
Oh,
here. Yo, thanks.
So as Rico mentioned a while ago, we have the Warp G gummy. So after we seal this keyhole, we have to go back to Traverse Town. Thankfully, we don't have to backtrack all the way there. We can simply warp.
That would be horrible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so hitting the clock so that basically 3 of the 4 sides of Big Ben were correct and the last one wasn't. And fixing it reveals the keyhole, which gives the implication that if Big Ben is always correct, then the keyhole is always visible, but we'll just not think about that.
Some more good dialogue there.
Yeah, so here, before we leave, we're going to get the Fairy Harp, which is a very useful Keyblade. We get the ability Glide, which is very useful, and then Marathon's going to pick up the the Flare G, which is a faster engine for the Gummy Ship. We also got, I think for beating Hook, we got Ars Arcanum, which is one of the most powerful abilities in the game.
It's
So helpful.
So it uses magic, but it's a Keyblade attack that does like 10 hits at once.
Yeah, you're also invulnerable for a good portion of it.
Yeah.
So again, we're gonna just warp right back to Traverse Town. Do not make the mistake I made earlier. Please go get Dumbo.
Yeah.
Forgetting to get Dumbo here is very bad.
Yeah, Dumbo is super useful for Hollow Bastion for skipping a few otherwise mandatory fights and some platforming you have to do.
Yeah, and some puzzling. Basically, like we see Dumbo 3 times on this run just to skip things. And
Save time despite the long summon intro animation.
Yeah.
Dumbo actually has one of the shorter ones. Like his sword just like lifts the Keyblade up and Dumbo falls down. So that, not a particularly long animation, at least compared to Simba. And so here, now we're gonna fight the opposite armor, which we were supposed to do on the second visit.
And you'll see use of ours already.
Yeah, so.
Yep.
Yeah, so to make the opposite armor appear, we have to ring the bell at the top of the Gizmo shop 3 times. There's some Heartless guarding it, and ours will just completely clear them very quickly.
See ya.
So Marathon burned a fire there just to make it so he has a lot of charge on his MP gauge. That way when he uses the R's, he still has some charge left over. And yeah, so R's just tore through most of those Heartless in seconds.
Did Donald get him?
Yeah,
No,
that's what I
thanks,
was like.
Donald.
How about that?
So again, just have to ring the bell 3 times, and then the
Then-
keyhole to Traverse Town will show up, and then a second guard armor will show up to protect it, and then it will turn into the opposite armor.
Well, ring the bell 3 times, spin around, believe in Christmas, you know.
Say Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
Thankfully, it's hinted at that you need to ring it 3 times.
Yeah, like Sid tells you
Yeah.
twice to ring it 3 times. I think in the accessory shop when it first goes off, he says to ring it 3 times, and then in the small house, he's like, "Hey, heck, go check it out and ring it 3 times."
So we're going to fight opposite armor, but first we have guard armor, because opposite armor is derived from guard armor. We just got to do a few hits, stagger him, then he falls down. Just like that, then the fight transitions into this.
When I first made notes for this game, the only note I put for this guard armor fight was make him sad.
Make him sad.
Yeah, so here you're just gonna immediately guard, and that breaks him up, and then you just do an R's to immediately kill one
Dang,
of the
one
legs.
limb gone.
Yep. And then opposite armor also has a bit of an HP gate, but that R's definitely goes through a lot. And also, if you have a second R's, then it just goes through even faster.
Oh, he's
Yeah, you
dead
can
to
see
me.
here it's getting HP gated.
Yeah.
It's another one of my favorite Heartless animations is when
Oh
the
my
foot hand just goes around off his armor's head like he's just like, oh my god, my head. So now he should be able to take it out.
Okay. Not too bad.
So there's an interesting quirk with the end of this fight. When the second fade occurs, you can just like immediately skip it.
You also might have seen some targeting issues there. There's, we as multiple communities have always seemed to have some criticism with the targeting system in this series. The way it works in KH1 is if you lock onto an enemy and want to change which enemy you're locked onto, you press L2 and that just cycles through sequentially which enemy to lock onto, which can make things a little bit difficult.
Yeah. In the original PS2 release, L2 and R2 could cycle through them. I don't remember what the reason was for the HD version only letting you cycle with L2, but I guess R2 did something that I don't remember. There was some reason.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
I just know that in the
They have
original
their
release,
reasons.
in the original release, you could cycle with L2 and R2, and that just didn't really translate over. Yeah, so Sid installed the Navi G, so now we can travel to Hollow Bastion. I was also mentioning this earlier in a marathon. You ever think that when Sid goes to install our ship and sees it's just a giant tissue box, he's like, what are
Yeah.
these people flying? Like, you call this a gummy ship? Yeah, so we're going to attach the Flare G, and Marathon's actually going to remove the Fire G at the same time. Having just a billion engines on doesn't make the gummy ship go much faster, so it's just better to take the Fire G off.
This coming up, this is probably the hardest world in the game.
Yeah, this is also definitely the longest world in the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It's where the difficulty definitely cranks up. And-
For perspective of how long this world is, this is the second to last world in the run, and we're at the 1 hour and 33-minute mark, and we've been through, what, like 7 other worlds at this point?
Yeah.
There is an hour left in this run. That's just how long Hollow Bastion and End of the World are.
Yeah.
Like we call it late game, end game. It's mainly 2 worlds.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
straight up, this is like the 60% point of the run.
So Marathon, one of the things when I was learning to run this is I kept gaslighting myself because in Hollow Bastion 1 there's no menu that you do. There's a big one in Hollow Bastion 2 though.
Yeah, it's always weird. Just
Big long world, no menu.
yeah. Yeah, part of what makes Hollow Bastion so long is that we essentially have to do it twice.
Yeah.
But there's a heck of a lot of plot that unfolds.
Yeah, Like, a lot of stuff
A
happens.
lot
in this
happens.
world.
This is like the climax of the game story-wise.
Two of the most like I guess popular fights or exciting fights.
Notorious fights.
Yes.
Yeah.
If y'all don't know, I run KH2 FM on critical mode, but this is such a fun world to play. It is when I ran this game for a little bit, it's like, let's make some practice saves. Let's have some fun. You know?
Hey, look, it's that stage from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh yeah.
And what a stage it is.
It's a very good stage.
They put so much detail into it in that game. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I really did like that. Yeah.
You know, Hollow Bastion is my pick for best world in the series, to be honest.
That's
everything
very
about this
fair.
is so good.
You don't like the Land of Musketeers?
I'm not gonna make it.
I like the music in the Land of Musketeers.
I was just trying to think of which is some ridiculous world. You know?
So we mentioned Riku becoming worse and worse as the game goes, but
This is where he completely turns to being evil.
this is borderline unforgivable.
So naturally we forgive him.
It's also maybe the hardest diss of all time. Like, he takes the Keyblade. Spoilers, by the way.
He
for
takes
a
the
20-year-old
Keyblade
game.
and he takes Donald and Goofy
He
with
takes
the Keyblade.
he takes your friends, he throws the wooden sword from Destiny Island at you and says, here, play with this. Like, damn.
So,
Thanks, man.
so right now we can't do any physical damage because we only have a wooden sword, but we can do magic damage. But we have Beast who can also do some heavy work for us.
Yeah, as a party member, Beast lives up to his name. He is very
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Hence, later on, he will be the one guest party member who stays on the party for an extended amount of time.
We probably would honestly keep him in the party for this portion of Hollow Bastion as well, but there is one Trinity I have to grab, and you need the classic party of Sora, Donald, Goofy in order
Yeah,
to use that.
there's a red Trinity in the entrance hall of the castle that is required to pass, and you cannot do it if you have Beast, and it's just not worth to do it as Sora, Donald, Goofy, and then go back to a save point to switch your party.
That's right. So there's that one that's mandatory. There's also an optional one, but it's very useful. It has like
I was gonna say we're thinking of the wrong Trinity. There's two Trinities that we have to grab.
There's one with like what 2 megalichs in a
Oh,
cottage.
yeah. So it's really not worth it then.
Yeah.
You just have to deal with Donald and Goofy.
The only fight we could switch him out for is a fight that you only do as Sora anyway, so.
You could theoretically switch him in for Dragon Maleficent, but there's no point
There's no point.
because of the way we do that fight, which we will see soon. So I'd rather just keep that in suspense because that's like probably my favorite fight in the run.
That's my favorite fight in the round.
So the point of this part of the world is just to get to that switch to open a door. Now, so that opens the door to the hall where we can fight Riku, and we'll get our Keyblade back. Just one enemy we had that was effectively necessary that we had to kill while having the toy sword.
Oh, here.
There's Beast
We're
getting
gonna
stuck.
lock Beast behind the wall.
No,
and then
Beast,
he's-
no.
He phases through it.
He was always there for us.
Oh, so it's Donkey Kong 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, so that defender that we killed is the first sign of how powerful gravity is. The way gravity works is that it is a percentage-based attack where it just rips out a set amount of whatever remaining HP the enemy has.
And what's nice is it also doesn't just target a singular enemy. It's like an orb area of attack, so it can attack a lot at once,
Yeah.
which we will see later on.
Yeah, so especially against enemies with large amounts of HP, gravity just cuts through them really quickly.
So we had to despawn those enemies so we can interact with that switch. Do you even call that a switch? Just so we can go up on the elevator.
We can call it a switch.
The multi-decahedron.
So this is one of the more infamous fights, and I feel like all four of these fights are pretty infamous, but this one in particular can just be a disaster.
This one in the run is definitely a fight of all time.
Yeah.
So every like 2 or 3 hits that Riku takes where he staggers, he will break out. And that's all you need to know why this fight is so thoroughly annoying sometimes. It can get really out of hand. Let's see how he does.
It's really useful for Goofy to tornado, but he does that on his own volition. He is currently not doing it. I guess it's just not his day.
Yeah, oh lord.
There we go.
Ideally, you want to sandwich Riku in between your R's and Goofy's tornado. But, yeah, he's not cooperating. Goofy, I would love some participation right now, man. Thank you. There we
It
go.
took him long enough.
Better late than never.
Goofy in that fight was like that one episode of SpongeBob where he's like, "Why don't you ask me later?" I don't really feel like it.
I don't really feel like it.
So that was a Riku fight for sure.
Yeah, it was a fight.
Yeah. So again, we take Beast out of the party here because again, there's two Trinities that one is mandatory, one is highly recommended.
This is a minor puzzle section of the world.
Yeah, so there's a lot of little goodies you can get here if you put the books in the right place. There's only two that you have to actually do. There's that one, and then another one coming up here.
So Marathon, that was a book, which is like a bunch of text messages smushed together.
If you really think about it, that's exactly what it is. My friend Crescent referred to this at one point as the Dewey Decimal System puzzle, and that's all I think about whenever
I just think about the
get here
fact
now.
that we take the Mava Volume 8 or whatever, the green book, out of the shelf, and then we never put it away anywhere
Yeah.
else. So, like, Sora just has that at the end of the game. Like, it's just a little bit of light reading.
So what we need to do is you need to get these like four. What are they called?
Emblem
Emblems.
pieces.
Emblem
Yeah.
pieces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no, it's not puzzle or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to...
I'm a KH2 runner. Please forgive me.
These are the proofs. You know, we have to light the candles on fire. We have to break the scenery because we have no respect for feng shui or whatever.
That was the mandatory trinity right there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
would not be able to do that if you had Beast.
And we have to push this.
Always takes 2 pushes.
Yeah, because
he
Sora walks
stops
off the
halfway.
ledge and then it makes him stop the push animation. So. And lighting all the candles makes that fire disappear.
You can't just like damage boost through it. Ocarina of Time style.
Crash Bandicoot style.
True.
And that one, and then...
And let's see the movement.
Hey, let's
Beautiful.
go.
So you had to get those 4 to put them in here, and that opens that door.
And then coming up is apparently one of Marathon's favorite bits of dialogue.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Quote unquote dialogue.
Yeah. Me too, man.
Just the panting.
Yep.
Yep. He truly has a way with words.
Yeah, so coming up here, there's gonna be some. It's gonna look like some weird movement, but it'll make sense.
So there's a gummy part that we want. It's in a chest, so we gotta make sure the enemies despawn. Let's see. There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah. One of those wyverns has a tendency to chase you, which is not fun. I think at least in Violin's community, his name is Vern.
Vern.
Yeah, but no. So Marathon just picked up the Haste 2G there. Using that later on when we equip it to the gummy ship, you will see how ridiculously fast it moves. So that detour was definitely worth it.
Yeah.
And then also the way he glided around the arena stopped more Harlows from spawning, because that is actually a very annoying place to fight Harlows, because if you get knocked off,
Oh
you
my
just go
God.
all the way down to the,
Yeah.
the bottom of the...
And then you have to walk through the library and everything again.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not fun.
So there's a forced fight here, halfway through this
Hopefully
transport.
Donald doesn't use stop. Why would he
Right.
do that?
So each of these wizards takes a full 4-hit combo.
They're also
very
immune to
well.
magic, but aside from stop, and that doesn't stop Donald from trying it.
Yeah.
One thing that we haven't mentioned when it comes to the movement in this game is that every time you go through a loading transition, the camera is pointed the same way it was right when you left, which makes things really difficult if you don't have a good reference of that. Yeah, but Marathon's been doing really well with that. His movement's been very crisp.
Also, shout outs to the zoom in on Goofy's face.
That's right.
There's nothing to do on that elevator while you wait for it, so people just like zoom in on the party members because it's silly. Yeah, so this blue trinity gives you, I think it's like a cottage, 2 cottages and a mega elixir, so very, very useful.
Those completely heal our health and MP for the entire party.
Yeah, the mega elixir can be used anywhere. The cottages can only be used while you're not in combat, but they will all be useful throughout the run.
I'm really glad I remember to do that. That's the one thing we have to do on that elevator, right? You can do it anywhere, but you have to wait anyway, so.
Give me strength.
Here's Dumbo.
So, what is intended to do is to go through that door, through the lift stop, go around, raise these platforms to get up. We don't want to do that. We're just going to get on Dumbo, get off Dumbo, and grab that ledge. That saves a good bit of time and a pretty forced fight.
Yeah, aside from the waterway clip, that's probably the one thing I would classify as like a major skip.
Right.
Yeah.
It does cut out a good chunk of Hollow Bastion.
And like another mini puzzle, you know.
Yeah.
Here.
All right, Maleficent.
Yeah. So the strat here is that you want to get on the platform she's on. I think fire off 1 Rs and then do air combos on her without doing a finisher.
This fight can also go very south, so hopefully she cooperates. I mean, why would she not? That'd be really mean if she didn't.
Very nice.
Very nice. All right.
Yeah, so the next fight is Dragon Maleficent. If you played this game as a kid and you remember how brutally difficult this fight was, you will probably enjoy this part of the run.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to let it speak for itself.
This is by far my favorite fight in the game.
Same.
Very
Okay.
nice.
Goofy went in on that with the
Yeah,
tornadoes.
Goofy really. We love Goofy.
Yeah.
So the dragon barely moved there. If the dragon moved at all, that fight is just so incredibly aggravating. Thankfully, we just have the items and stop.
Yeah, the
We make
perfect
it work.
combination of stop, the level you're at, and just Fairy Harp just makes that possible. Even despite how trivial Marathon made that look, that's still not ridiculously easy. It's got a good bit of timing to it. It's not the hardest strat in the world, but definitely one that can very easily go south if something just gets flopped a little bit.
Yeah.
Very fun to learn as well. If that's something that you want to get your foot in the door, get your toes wet, speed running this game,
Yeah,
or just trying out a new strat, that's something to learn.
It's extremely fun fight with that strat.
Yeah, but we are not out of the woods yet. We got Riku Ansem here. You want to take this one?
Yeah, this is another infamously difficult fight. The key here is that every 4 hits he staggers, or if you just delay like that. There is also what we call a desperation move, or DM, where when Riku passes a certain HP threshold, he'll start doing his Dark Aura attack, where he jumps into the air and just attacks the entire arena. We want to attack him in a way past that HP gate where he will just not do the DM.
So Marathon is right now looking for a good time to get this 4-hit combo right now. Now he's going to try to keep doing 4 hits. And now he's going to keep doing that spin attack. And if he times it right, the fight's going to end like this. But if he breaks out, then he's going to do this very long DM. He's just not matching out these combos. It's a very specific timing to this. Very nice.
Okay. That got a little scary because he kind of backed into one of the corners, and when you're up against the wall like that in the corner, there's a chance the Keyblade can bonk off of the wall and not hit him, and that will break the stun lock there.
And you played it very careful trying to get your first stagger, so very nice. Seems like you really kept yourself together there.
Yeah. The thing with Riku Anthem's DM is that the DM itself is actually pretty short compared to most other bosses. Is that once he fires it once, he fires it like every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So you just get, and you can't hit him while he's doing it, so that just loses a lot of time. Anyway, we're a Heartless now.
The Shadow Walk.
Or Albert.
Yep, Albert the Heartless. So story-wise, what happens here is we beat Riku Ansem. Ansem being the person who has possessed Riku and is the actual bad guy in this game. And they can't seal the keyhole because Kairi's heart is missing, and her heart is needed to complete the keyhole because she's one of the 7 Princesses of the Heart. Ansem reveals that Kairi's heart is hidden within Sora, which happened at the beginning of the game when Destiny Islands got defeated, and Sora decides the best way to free Kairi's heart is to stab himself with the keyblade.
Yeah, choose like seppuku his own heart.
Yep. So now Sora is a Heartless.
And hang on, make or break part of the run here.
Bomb.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is the hardest trick in the whole run.
Bonkless.
And
Hey!
Very
Let's
nice.
go.
We did it.
world record pace now.
We did it. Oh,
If you don't get that strat, you're legally obligated to reset.
Tell me what.
I have never finished a run because I never get that.
Yeah, they get rejected from SRC.
Yeah.
that line also kills me because Leon's like, so tell me what happened.
Tell me what happened.
Nope.
So
I got places to be.
One thing to note is that after beating that boss Riku Ansem, all of the Heartless in each world change to stronger and stronger different Heartless, and they are all much more powerful now. It's like it's the break point of the run.
Yeah. And the story reason is that the final keyhole is just releasing a massive amount of like powerful Heartless to the worlds. Yeah, so we talked to Sid and we're like, we need to go back to Hollow Bastion, and Sid's like, I can't let you do that. The Heartless are just getting really powerful, so you have to go around them. And he's like, I hit a navigation gummy in the secret waterway. Go get it. So we're gonna go get it. You should do Oathkeeper cutscene glitch.
We can try it.
Yeah, let's see.
You
No.
did not get it.
I did not get it.
That's definitely something worth looking up. Oathkeeper cutscene glitch.
It's pretty funny.
Hilarious.
I feel like whenever there's like a donation incentive for this game in like a GDQ or ESA, it's always the Oathkeeper cutscene glitch, and it never gets old.
That was a Final Mix exclusive cutscene there.
Yeah, that basically shows Riku being in the realm of darkness after being banished by Ansem. And then he hears a mysterious voice like, I have the other Keyblade from this place, and basically foreshadowing the end of the game. So again, a lot more save warping here just because it's faster than going through all of Traverse Town. Fun fact, I think on the PS3 version of the game, the loads are so long that it's actually faster to just go through all of Traverse Town.
It is.
Yeah. But on PS4, PS5, and beyond, they're so fast that save warping is just better. So Sid has attached the Navi-G to the tissue box, and judged us one more time for our gummy ship building capabilities, and we will be heading to Hollow Bastion again.
After we put on
Oh yeah, after the Haste 2G. That is very important. What a masterpiece of a gummy ship.
It's beautiful.
This is the last edit we will be making to it.
Gonna be zooming now. We got the Sabor zoomies.
Yeah. Look how fast this thing is now. Like, especially in like later portions where like there's just so many heartless and obstacles, you just like fly through it. Yeah. The nice touch is that even like the gummy sections have more heartless than they did at the beginning of the game.
If more gummies, or more heartless, more obstacles, stronger heartless.
Yeah. So this gummy mission, after Marathon crosses a specific threshold, he's actually going to quit out of it. This is another one of the ones where after a certain point the game's like, close enough, and just lets you warp the Hollow Bastion.
And it only works for this one, not for any other gummy
Yeah.
mission, which is strange.
It does cut out like a gigantic portion of the mission though. Like there was one time I forgot to do it and I was just completely zoned out and I saw the wall to Hollow Bastion. I was like, I just forgot to quit and I lost like 30 seconds in the section. So
Is it right after this next loading zone?
yeah, it's like
So as soon as I
it's
see-
when the screen transitions and like a bunch of purple squares show up.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the sign, and then you can just quit.
So, fun fact, that was discovered by accident. Spike Vegeta accidentally died there. But then it just turns out, oh, wait, I can just warp there now? So, thank you, Spike Vegeta.
Thanks, Spike. Shout out Spike.
Shout out to
Gotta love
Spike.
that-
Spike,
gotta love
Spike
that
is
guy.
the homie for sure. Yeah. So this second visit of Hollow Bastion, if you saw where it said disembark, it is treated as an entirely new visit to the world. So we do have to traverse through all of it again. And here Beast is saying the princesses all stayed in the castle. I don't know why, but I think there's a reason. So we have to go talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah, and
We
were-
don't even reunite him with Bell. We skip that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dumbo.
It's actually a good thing we do that too because that cutscene is also unskippable.
That's right.
But
May
you do
may
get the
not have
Divine
found that out.
Rose, which is
Yeah.
very powerful, but not worth it for sure.
Yeah, not in beginner. You're doing enough damage.
It's a little Mega Elixir you can get there.
By the way, I hope you all see the utility in Glide that we got from Neverland.
It's very, very useful for a lot of this, like, not even just platforming, but just skipping over stuff.
So this is going to skip Bell for us and also like skip going through the library again. He's got to spawn these enemies in order to use Dumbo. He's going to jump up here and summon Dumbo just to get on top of that pillar so we can get to the little transport later on. Very, very useful. Just like that. Very nice.
The worst part is that some of the Red Nocturne Heartless there, they can just snipe you as you're getting off of Dumbo, and you can only summon each summon once per battle, so if that happens, you have to leave the fight and then come back and summon Dumbo again.
I don't know if any of you saw my eyes light up there. I thought I heard when I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, so coming up here is going to be another very long menu with a lot of stuff to do.
So one of the main important things that he equipped there was MP Gift on Goofy, which lets Goofy spend 2 MP to give Sora 3 MP, and we want him to be doing that quite a bit.
Yeah, that was actually nerfed from the original release, where it used to cost 1 for him to do that. But yeah, no, it's still an absurdly powerful ability. Another thing that Marathon did there is that he also unequipped the Tornado from Goofy. Basically, until the absolute final fights in the game, we only want Goofy to do MP Gift. So just Tornado would take away from that, so we just don't want him to have that until the very end.
Beast was not very friendly in that fight. All you want him to do is just
he
do his
tried.
roar, and that can just one-shot everything.
Yeah, another thing that we did was we unequipped Beast's Ferocious Lunge to just maximize the chance that he does Furious Bellow, and he just didn't. So that was fun.
Would be the first time this my party disappointed me.
And we're not mad, Beast. We're just disappointed.
Yeah.
How can you be mad at that face, though?
So you saw us do Dumbo Skip in the first visit of Hollow Bastion. We're going to be doing that once again. I say we as if I'm going to be helping you or something.
It's the Royal We.
The royal way.
Courage.
You got to have enemy spawn, thankfully, in this area that is not a problem.
Speaking of funny misheard Kingdom Hearts quotes. We were actually doing this one in Marathon's chat a couple nights ago. Every time Sora says courage when he summons an ally, it sounds like he's saying curry. And he has a tendency to say it a lot when you're using Simba, so it's just really funny. Just curry, curry, curry.
Their Violin has a great playthrough of like badly translated Kingdom
Oh
Hearts.
yeah, it's
Oh, yeah.
retranslated. I've played through that too. That is.
Where instead of saying all for one and one for all, they say one
One
person,
person,
one
one
person,
person,
one person, one person.
That mod is an absolute riot. If anybody has the PC version of this game, I highly recommend Kingdom Hearts Retranslated. You will not regret it. I've never laughed so hard in my life playing that. It basically takes the script and just runs it through Google Translate like 10 times and just completely destroys it. It's so funny.
Instead of Agrabah, it's algebra.
Yeah. When Tinkerbell gets mad and Peter Pan says she's getting steamed again, she says, "Good guys, she started to smoke again."
Oh yeah, we're fighting Behemoth now.
Yeah, this is a fight that exists. The strat here really is just get on top so you can hit his horn, which is the only weak spot, and just spam R's while Goofy and Beast just give you more MP.
And at certain times, the horn is invulnerable, like it's just about to become right now. And he's going to try to time a dodge. Oh, heal through it and not do a dodge roll.
Yeah, one of the abilities he equipped on that large menu was Leaf Bracer, which is as long as you're healing, you cannot get hit. And that is so broken in this game.
Oh yeah.
In later Kingdom Hearts games where they nerfed Cure by making it cost your entire MP bar, like Leaf Bracer is like neat, but Cure is usually just not worth it over just using items. But Cure in Kingdom Hearts 1 is insane. It only costs 1 MP. If you have Leaf Bracer and MP Rage with it, you will almost never die.
Folks, may I?
Go for it.
By all means.
Well, when we get through this
Mhm.
matching.
Yeah.
Marathon, you cannot skip this cutscene because this cutscene is an unskippable cutscene that he cannot skip because it is unskippable.
Beautiful.
I couldn't forget you, even
Since
if I
this
wanted.
cutscene is unskippable, we haven't read donations once. If we have any, I suppose now would be a time. I don't know if you guys can see them or if Tech can see them.
It would have to be
Tech Crew, if you are able to, we'd love to hear any if there are some.
Sora, good luck.
It is admittedly 8:20 in the morning, so
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
shout outs to Tech for being here
Yes,
all
indeed.
night running this
24-hour
event.
Tech Crew, indeed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we're 2 hours and 2 minutes Marathon. Do you have an idea what that comparison would be? It was just over 2 hours when you beat Behemoth.
Just over?
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing pretty well then.
Okay.
Yeah, there hasn't been anything too bad outside of that death and hook, I feel.
Yeah, which, you know, if that's the worst thing that happens this run,
That's pretty good.
that's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
good.
Oh yeah.
Alice is so short compared to the other princesses of Heart.
Yeah.
Like, she's just like, she is like barely taller than Donald. Anyway, the princesses of Heart just gave you Firaga there. Firaga is actually the only tier 3 magic we get in this run. Every other one is pretty out of the way.
Like Gravity, we get is only the first tier, and we still use the heck out of it.
Yeah, same with Stop, I think, also.
Yeah.
We actually don't get Thunder at all because you get Thunder.
It's the two worlds that we skip.
Yeah, you get Thunder in Olympus Coliseum, you get Thundara in Atlantica, and you get Thundaga in Olympus Coliseum. So we just never see Thunder in this run.
It's used in level 1. Is it used in Crowd also, or just
No,
like,
it's
I
just
didn't
level
think
1.
so.
Yeah, in level 1, it's just you need that like area
Yeah.
effect magic.
and like,
And also
So-
for Spellbinder.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's worth because Spellbinder you can only get for getting at least one of each magic.
Thunder is a really good spell in this game. It's just,
It's
it-
just too out of the way.
it's too out of the way.
And it's just in level 1, it's almost mandatory to have, so it's worth the detour to Olympus Coliseum to get it.
Those enemies were pretty rough, by the way. Can't really kill them
Yeah.
with the tools that we have.
So this is the final world. This is End of the World. I love this world. It's
This is my favorite world in the whole series.
Yeah, this is a very good one. It's just, it is the remnants of every world that has been destroyed by the Heartless.
So there are a few forced fights here. We're going to be introduced to these guys, Invisibles, which are like a mini boss Heartless. They have a whole bar of health, but we're going to try to use gravity on them and use some R's. Two of
I
them.
was gonna say this is an RDMS.
Yeah.
I locked onto the one right in front of me, and I'm so used to locking on someone in the back first, so I tried to switch, and then I was like, oh no, this is.
Yeah, these guys are
a mess.
assholes, and they
Yeah.
are, this world is infested with them.
So-
We will see them for the remainder of the run.
So that's what we call a desperation move. When they stab their sword in the ground, and like they do this big long attack, with, like putting this little AOE targeting around you. It wastes a bunch of time. We unfortunately can't do too much about it unless if they just behave well, we gravity them and kill them.
Yeah,
That was pretty rough.
The moment they start doing the animation to throw the sword into the ground, they are completely invulnerable, so you
Right.
just have to sit there and watch it.
Yep.
That is a very precarious amount of HP that Sora has left.
Yeah.
Especially because the next force fight is also kind of scary because it's against Angel Stars, who are not quite as awful as the Invisibles, but still pretty rough.
Yeah. So some of those chests are like fake chests that would trigger a battle. Thankfully, we know which ones are which. This is also
Like
a force
Goofy is
fight
a
based on
saint.
location. Oh boy.
Saint Goofy.
Also, I don't think any of the chests need to be unlocked on beginner. One of them has an elixir that you can pick up, but it's optional. Yeah, the Angel Stars can be very annoying because they do this attack where they just shield themselves and you cannot hit them with anything. They like to fly away like this.
Yeah, they're aerial mobility.
They also can spawn other angels, which
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's a fourth one.
I thought it might have been. I forgot that they can do that.
Would.
Oh my god.
Well, there you go.
This is getting out of hand.
Oh
Now there
my
are 5 of
God.
them. We do love Angel Stars in this household.
You know. I said Hollow Bastion 1 might be the hardest world. This one's also.
End of the World is a very brutal world to have at the end of the run. Also, we used one of the 2 cottages there. This is a world where even the best paces will just come to die. Like
When things
there's
go wrong, they go wrong.
There's so many things that can go horribly in this world.
Yeah.
It is a terrifying endgame world to have.
Like I know in Violin's world record, when he finally realized, like, okay, I think this is going to world record, that was after the final Invisibles fight, which is 2 fights from the end.
Yeah, it's
So-
like literally the last 3 minutes of the run. Like, out of all of the games I've speedrun, I want to say that this game has one of the scariest final sections of any of them. And
Yeah, it's a lot.
there's some terrifying end games in like the Crash series, which is my primary series, and I think End of the World trounces most of them.
Might be able to squeeze this.
That was very
okay,
nice.
yeah.
Like, so this is an Arc Behemoth. It's similar to the Behemoth that we fought in Hollow Bastion. The biggest difference is that this one is actually weak to gravity, so we can just spam gravity and just tear out most of its health.
Yeah, I guess it's not considered a boss in the same way that the
Yeah,
first
exactly.
Behemoth is, so
Yeah, it actually has like a 1 less bar of health too, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
So coming up next is the World Terminus, and the way this works is that there's little snippets of every world in the game except for Monstro, who doesn't count as a world for the purposes of this. And any world that has been cleared, you can skip the room for the World Terminus, which is usually it's a forced mob fight and just an item. But we can skip all of them because we finished all the worlds except for Olympus, Coliseum, and Atlantica. So that's the only snippets of this world that we're going to see.
Yeah, so like that, you see that blue flame orb. We have to go there. That's Olympus Coliseum. They give you a nice equipment accessory chest for doing this, but it is not of use to us in the run, so we leave it. We use Simba here. Got to do a quick 2-tick roar to stun them. Then we do our full 5-tick roars to get rid of them. You're going to be seeing Simba once more, right?
Yes.
Or probably the scariest part. I don't
Oh,
know.
yes.
I don't know about hardest, but definitely the scariest.
Certainly the scariest. I don't think there's a scarier part in the run than that section.
By the way, there are enemies here.
Yeah, we're just killing them. Basically, it spawns like 4 or 5 waves and Simba just immediately obliterates them. Yeah, so again, we'll be going through some of these. The next blue one will be Atlantica, and again, we did not seal that world's keyhole, so we do have to do this part. You do get a small snippet of Atlantica's more limited movement options here.
Yeah. Thankfully, not much hindrance on your magic abilities.
Yeah.
Maybe you can still cast fire underwater.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, you can cast Thunder without electrocuting everybody, so...
And you'll see fire uses such a minimal amount of magic, and for how strong it is, it's definitely worth doing.
Definitely. It and Blizzard do very minimal, like, to your total magic that they're just very effective to spam. Yeah, so this green one coming up here is actually a save point. This is the World Terminus for the 100 Acre Wood. It has a chest with a Mega Elixir and a save point, and that's all it's here. So we use that to replenish the health. And the next one is the World Terminus for Hollow Bastion. And this actually takes you to a section of Hollow Bastion that you'd never see otherwise.
So there's 3 invisibles that he wants to hope that they will come towards him while he throws some gravities. Looks like he got 2. Oh, looks like can you? Just got to finish him off now.
In a particular worst-case scenario, they can actually force you back into that doorway and you can accidentally leave.
Yeah.
Was that an elixir they dropped?
It was not. Fun fact, it dropped in the practice race that Rico and I did earlier, and I was like, is that an elixir? Oh, cool, it was a high potion.
Oh, lame.
So I'm going to
Not as
assume it's
cool.
another high potion, and I'm okay.
That happened to me once in Land of Dragons. An Assault Rider dropped an item. I thought it was, I didn't know what it was, but it was a high potion, which like you never use in
Yeah.
Cage 2. It's like, oh, come on, dude.
There's just no point over just using a regular potion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Chernobog. He's just kind of here, but he's also really cool. Yeah, so the goal with this fight is just hit him. He'll sometimes do this fire pillar, and you just want to... You tank it with Leaf Bracer and Arrow, really.
Yeah. Ideally, you want to cast Cure and and Arrow so that Leaf Bracer will stop you from taking damage, but also interrupt the animations.
And you see how he doesn't really react to your attacks, doesn't stagger or anything. You just kind of got to do your thing.
The other thing to note at the end of this fight is that the moment he kills Chernobog, Marathon is going to try and go to the base of his volcano as quickly as possible. If he reaches it, then he'll just automatically transition to the next area when the fight ends. Yeah. Occasionally, Chernobog does this attack where he just forces you away.
Yeah. He gave me a bad pattern and pushed me away super early into the fight.
Yeah, that's like I don't think I've ever seen him push that early. It's unfortunate. Very nice
All right.
there, and then immediately just try to get to the bottom. I overshot it a little bit, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I
bad.
landed on his arm, so I didn't like glide down. I just kind of
Depending
fell.
on what position
This is
he's
fine,
in
though.
when the fight ends, it can be very hard to get down here. Yeah, so here, beating Chernobog gives us super glide. Very, very late in the game and not a lot of places to use it, but it's still useful enough to equip. It is a much faster version of glide, which we'll see here.
Yeah, it's
Very,
very,
very fast.
very welcome.
And then also equipped a Mega Elixir, I think, to have for this next section.
And then another air combo plus, so he can do a 5-hit air combo.
Yeah, so this section is officially named Linked World, but the community calls it Final Rest fights because the room after it is called Final Rest. This is the scariest part of the run by far.
So after this behemoth, there's like a good 6 or 7 waves of enemies, but we have an interesting way of going about them.
Yeah.
There's a reason I don't know exactly how many. You'll see.
That's fine.
Bit of an awkward behemoth because he fell off of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, after killing this behemoth, we're gonna
There's
just
so
launch
much
a Mega Elixir immediately. Okay.
Oh my
God.
goodness.
This will be fine.
Okay.
It'll work out.
That's
We'll get Mega Potions in the
That was,
final
that was,
fights.
you know, like an animation cancel.
yeah. I thought the first one got canceled, and then
It's because like if it was Cure, it would have been, but items just always launch.
yeah.
Yeah, so this first wave is Dark Balls that you just take out with 2 fires each. These can be a little annoying because they like to just come at you and hit you. The second wave is a bunch of invisibles after these dark balls go away.
Second wave is the toughest, so he's going to go
Yeah.
to the entrance here. They're going to all approach him, and he's going to just throw some gravities out and just hope that they all get under them.
The other thing to be noted is that at the end of this wave, Donald and Goofy both need to be alive.
Yeah.
Because the moment this wave ends, Marathon is going to immediately summon Simba.
One more DM to deal with.
That's actually fine that he DM'd because.
Yeah, I think that's the last
oh,
one.
all right, so good.
Perfect.
All right, so this is great. So now there's going to be like what, 3 or 4 more waves.
Yep, and
Yeah.
Simba just clears all of them.
Yeah, this is scary because again, there's so many factors we have to be aware of. Donald and Goofy both have to be alive. I have to be in the right spot, and I have to have at least 2 magic to summon Simba.
Yep. And you got to do it in time because like right now, the big
Yeah.
thing is okay. As long as he got that attack off, now we're in the clear.
Yeah, if you were like a frame later there, I think that Angel Star was going to hit
Yep.
you.
They can fly around a bit. Who knows? You know.
Yeah, like, just look at all of these waves of Heartless spawning in. Imagine doing this without Simba.
And you can barely get off the last one here.
Okay.
All right, very nice,
That was
very
an
nice.
extremely clean final rest.
Yeah.
That is about as good as you can ask for.
Yeah, the 1 DM, but again, like the 1 DM just kind of. I'd rather him DM while I make sure that like everyone else is okay.
Yeah, so this is
That's
the
fine.
actual room called Final Rest. It has a Mega Elixir, a save point, and then there's a door. This is the final save point in the run. Once you cross past this door, this is like the game's point of no return. There is no going back after this spot.
That's why they
Yeah.
call it Final Rest.
Yeah, this is the point where you cross that door. It's the end game. This is the second to last menu in the run. Also, the last menu is very short in comparison.
Yeah.
But that was basically you equip, you give Sora the right equipment, you give something to Goofy, and then equip a couple more abilities on Sora.
And then giving yourself all your items.
Yeah, and yeah, you just every elixir and mega elixir you've built up across the run, you just give to yourself.
All right, so this is the first fight against Ansem, and this is by far the worst fight in the game on this difficulty.
Yeah. Also, this the game bookends and takes you back to the ruins of Destiny Islands to finish the game, which is a very cool note.
So what makes this fight rough is the terrain, and Ansem can kind of just float way up high in the air. So like on top of that, with how much health he has, it can go pretty wrong pretty quickly. After he gets staggered 2 or 3 times, he will summon his guardian like that. Thankfully, we can just go behind him and use ours, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, the other thing to watch out for here is the submit attack. If you get hit by that, then Ansem's attack pattern changes, and it can be very annoying to deal with.
Yeah.
If anybody watching has seen a Proud Mode speedrun, you might be confused as to, oh, why are you not using Mushu like you do in
I had to
Speedrun?
specify this difficulty.
Yeah, so there's an, I don't know if it's an oversight or just like an exploitation with the EXP0 ability that they added in the HD version to let you do a level 1 run. Kingdom Hearts 1 was not designed with level 1 in mind, so EXP0 in this game has a caveat where it's called damage storage, where if you do a full combo, your next like magic or summon attacks will have the power of a finisher, and you abuse that in Proud Mode to have Mushu just tear through enemy HP because he's just a rapid fire attack. But we don't have EXP0 in beginner, so you have to fight Ansem the intended way.
Yeah, if we had it in beginner, it would be no question.
It'd be crazy good, yeah.
Okay.
He scared me a bit there because Goofy pushed him out the way, and then he tried to submit, and I thought,
Yeah, you can lose a lot of time in this fight just from Ansem not staying in that corner. Yeah, so the last menu here, we use the cottage to replenish stuff, and we give Goofy Tornado because it will be very useful for endgame, and that is the last menu we will be able to do because after this point it is just all combat.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no like moment of rest.
Yeah, so we have a Dark Side 3 fight here, mostly just hitting his hands with R's and just air combos. You can do this without R's, it is definitely way tighter, so the R's is definitely a nice safety measure.
Since I am down in Elixir, I was thinking about it, but
Yeah.
All right, now here is what might be casually one of the most difficult fights in the game against Ansem 2. Sora's alone now. the thing is, you can react to pretty much everything that he does as usual. So he just the Guardian there. He can do that. He's going to be attacking again. He's going to be doing this. There's that attack right there. Whoa.
Oh, that was no bike.
There is a DM that he can skip that we're going to see if he can do. Again, Guardian just means a free R's. Let's see what he's going to do. I keep thinking he's going to charge at you.
Yeah, he has a charge attack that can be very annoying to deal with because guard in Kingdom Hearts 1 is kind of finicky and the timing can be weird. And if he hits you with that attack enough times, it will kill you in 2 or 3
I need him
hits.
to not do that particular attack.
So he's waiting for a particular attack so we can try a DM skip. There's a very long DM. Come on, dude.
And he actually does it twice, so you need to do the DM skip twice.
Yeah.
It's after this and then when he's close to like the last one.
Where's going to go? He's probably going to DM. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
So you see, right when he was at 2 bars there at the top of that yellow bar, he wanted to stagger him 3 times and then go into an R's. It works best with a particular attack. You see how he kind of went away during that and made it much more difficult. Not much we can do right now. You will have another opportunity to skip it though, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
See, now he's,
my
God.
gosh.
Like, now he won't. Like, okay, buddy.
I have no idea how that didn't get you. Uh-oh. Very good cure there. Okay.
We didn't mention, I think, this is a very, very bad fight to die in because if you do, you go back to Dark Side 3.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Finish him.
Very
All right.
nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
He really wanted me to sweat there. Oh my God.
That is
Oh my God.
Made it through.
Yeah. Okay.
of the 4 Anthem fights, I want to say that's the scariest one.
That is the scariest
without a
one.
doubt.
I don't know if it's the hardest. It's definitely the scariest.
I don't know if we mentioned this before, but if you die in that fight, you have to do the previous fight over again. As
Yeah, I
well.
mentioned it very briefly.
Yeah.
So the good news is now, if he dies at all, he just starts again at the fight that he died in.
Yeah, so this is Anthem 3. This is pretty straightforward. You kind of just tank his hits and hit him. So we do actually have a couple donations, so this is probably a good time to mention them if you don't have anything, Marathon.
Oh, sure. By all means.
Yeah, so we have $20 from Anonymous and $10 from Captain Gallant saying, shoutouts to the Waking Up Early gang. Good luck, have fun, Marathonman.
Thank you, Gallon.
Thanks, Captain Allen. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so early on in the run, we mentioned how even though Kingdom Hearts 1's combat is a bit simplistic compared to later games, it's still fairly fairly deep is the right word. It's very early in the morning. This is a fight where I would say that's not really apparent. This is kind of just hit him and get hit because there's not much you can do about it.
I guess a few things to note is I am trying to, like, I'm doing a bad job of it, but you can like interrupt his attack with your attack, and so you'll just kind of tech off of him, and then you can swing faster. But
it's just the lasers in particular when he like launches all of them at you. Like there's no reasonable way to quickly dodge that, so you tank it.
Yeah,
I think even in Proud mode, like you run away from them, you just spam fire with EXP0, and that's just the best thing you can do in that fight.
Well, if you had more tools at your disposal, you could do different things, like even like Aeroga, but don't have too much.
This is the first of 3 cores. This is the Shadow Core. You kind of just take them out with R's and ground combos, and then this weird like Uvula is gonna show up, and you just hit it with gravity and an air combo, or just an air combo, either or. Throw an elixir to replenish your MP for the next phase, which is artillery. This section sucks.
So to note, Sora's alone right now, but at the next cores, he will get each party member back at a different core. These artillery will be shooting a bunch of attacks and lasers, but thankfully you can just the way the terrain works, you can just use R's, and it kind of goes through all of those 3 small ones. So he's going to do one more right here.
Oh, nice. Using the iframes to not get blown away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got some more Dark Balls now.
And this is where Goofy rejoins us.
They each take just 2 fires, so he's going to be doing some spamming.
Once they start to like get close to you, they can pretty easily overwhelm you, so that was a nice artist to do. Yeah, these Dark Balls are hard to see, and they just like to charge you, so It's a nice Mega Ether to pick up as well to make up for the Mega Elixir that got spent by accident.
Yeah.
So the next fight coming up is the Face.
That's not gonna go off in time. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the important thing about Face is just to be patient because he can do a lot of damage really quickly. And he thankfully does telegraph a bit of his attacks a little bit. Like you'll see that little flash right there. That means like that attack hitbox is coming up. Definitely going to need Arrow. Definitely going to need to Cure. Need that Leaf Bracer. And sometimes just you see him moving from side to side. That's because he's anticipating an attack.
It's also important to just not get greedy in this fight.
Yeah, I tried to kill Goofy at the end of the last core because Goofy can do a lot of damage to Two-Face with his tornado attack. While we are taking most of the damage, he can kind of be doing damage on the side.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
That was very clean, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
So
I
coming
think
up is the last core, which is the Invisibles core. And then this is where Donald will rejoin us.
yeah,
More gravities. Let's see.
this is another kind of scary part.
Goal here is just get them all into one spot, Gravity and ours. I had a really stupidly clean one here
they're all being made
earlier
now.
during
They
during a
stay
race.
really spread out.
Yeah, this is a bad case scenario one.
It's really important for Marathon not to die though, because if he respawns, they respawn like all over you already, which is just so strange.
Yeah,
So like
Yeah.
any subsequent try on this is just so much more difficult.
this is probably placebo. I'm also convinced that these Invisibles are like programmed to just jump around more, because it just feels like every time you try to hit them with Gravity, they just jump out of the way.
I think one more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he?
Actually two, I
Two
think.
more, yeah.
Yeah, there's one in the middle of the DM.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. This is why endgame can be so scary. Is like
Yeah.
you just,
DC
doesn't matter
was
what you
nice
do,
that you
you got
ate
this
that.
core to deal with at the very end. This is the the third to last fight in the run.
Just to give some context, that fight could take 20 seconds if they all just group up and you gravity them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
ideally what
I was
we
saying
want.
during Marathon's race with me earlier tonight before the run. This was after he'd finished, but I got like the best case scenario where they all grouped up, got hit by 3 gravities, and they all just died to ours in like 15 seconds. Yeah, so this is the central core. You hit it with the gravity and then air combo it, and it dies pretty quickly. And then there's one more fight after this, which is Anthem 4.
You gotta do the same fight with Ansem, but now you have your party members, which makes it a little bit easier.
He does start off with one new attack where he just like holds his arm out and goes darkness, and then just like sucks you in with an attack.
and,
But it's pretty easy to dodge.
And timers, when he Ansem
Yeah, this is the
loses
final
all his
fight
health,
again.
that is time.
Just like darkness. This one definitely goes by much faster by having Donald and Goofy on the
Yeah,
team.
they
Yeah,
do
down.
They do so much more work than you
Both of them.
might think. Uh-oh.
Both of them went crazy. Oh, did that? Oh.
Using that Mega Elixir to make sure they're back
Yeah.
alive.
I got really lucky
them
on
off.
items, and Goofy was a homie earlier and did wonders with magic, so it kind of made up for not having the extra Mega Elixir.
All right, we're on the last health bar, so time will be very
Yeah.
soon.
Time will be as soon as this health bar disappears.
Goofy going here. And
And
time! GG's. 2:27:36 Marathon.
Thank you.
Very good run.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was really good.
Yeah, I think the only real blemish was the hook ship. Or not the hook ship, the hook fight.
Hook
Yeah.
fight, yeah.
The hook fight.
A few
on
other
the
fights
ship.
trolled, but that's the only like
That was the only
ugly
death,
death.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the only ugly death.
Very clean overall.
So
very
what's
good
your
run.
PB in this marathon?
I'm sitting at a 2:21:01.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, in a resetless marathon, that a 2:27 is definitely
Yeah.
very good considering that.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I gave all my shout-outs earlier, but just thanks to the entire Kingdom Hearts community for adopting me. Everyone's been super helpful. There's so many great runners, so many inspiring runners. Thank you, Fritz and Rico, both, for helping with the commentary. Definitely took a lot of pressure off my back.
I was so excited to be here with you.
Same.
Yeah. This was awesome.
Yeah.
And thank everyone for watching.
Indeed.
Anyone who donated, anyone who's been watching the whole event. So many great runs coming up.
In fact,
It's an
if you
exciting week.
if you want to see more Kingdom Hearts, the very next run is a Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer run.
That's
which
right.
Is an absolute treat to watch. I would definitely
Oh,
recommend
yeah.
sticking around for it if you were able to.
Yeah. Huge shout out to the rando mod community. THC randos are just so thoroughly fun.
Definitely.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, folks.
Thanks for having me again.
Urban arts helped prepare me for college by giving me a lot of experiences working both independently and collaboratively with other people to make really cool games, and taught me how to put my all into creative projects, and that helped me put together a very strong portfolio for college.
The best part about being in the urban arts community is the people that you meet. A lot of the people here have the same interests as me, so in the future, making friends here will benefit me and them and everyone around, because we all benefit from each other by gaining skills that other people had that I may need.
Urban arts helped me see myself differently by showing me that I can be a good leader. In the studio program, I was assigned the role as project manager, and fulfilling that role for the first time actually helped me realize that I have good leadership skills, and it really helped me to develop them.